How are we, people? We are live for Cannonier versus Gastelum. Welcome. You're watching the Fair One podcast. Thank you very much for joining me. If you're here to watch the show, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you haven't already. Thank you very much for joining me for this podcast. I'm very, very interested to see what you guys think. Who's going to win the main event? How? Why? So yeah, let's kick off with that. I don't know. I'm actually very interested. I think I think Cannonier is always getting older. Obviously, we're all getting older. I don't know when that will be the day, that it catches up to him. There is a point in your life when it does just catch up to you. Having said that, um, having said that, he looks like he's going to be able to fight for a long, long time. He just looks like he really takes care of himself. Looks like he has very good genetics, so he might fight way beyond what we think is appropriate. He's so I don't know, but I do think that Gastelum is a little bit quicker. He's a little bit more technical with his striking. Um, I don't know how he's going to deal with the southpaw necessarily, but interesting. It's going to be a very interesting fight because I do think that, especially in the early going, Gastelum I think is a little quicker. What happens later in the fight, I don't know, because Cannonier can really grind as well. He's shown that he can grind, and he's still there in the third round, even when things don't go his way. So I think that's going to be a very interesting little puzzle there to be solved. Who wins? I don't know, but I really want to hear your stories. Joseph says the GOAT is here. Roy C says, hey, you fab and chat. Beetlejuice says, what's up, Playboy? How long were you talking for? Your stream just started. I don't know, 2 minutes maybe. Joseph says, how you doing, coach? How was your week? Man, and Zemuk says, how's your weekend been, boss man? Man, it's been good. It's been good. The lockdown's not that hard for me, to be honest, like I said to you, but it's hard from a financial perspective and from not being able to see family and whatnot, and a couple of social things. But other than that, it isn't overly it hasn't been overly bad for us, to be fair. That's just me being honest. It hasn't been that bad. We're very lucky where we live. There might be better places to be in lockdown. I would struggle to name three. So yeah, we've been having a really, really, really good time. Like this morning, I went for a walk with my daughter, and I saw a wallaby with a little Joey, and then I swapped some fried rice for a fresh snapper that my friend caught. So I swapped him some of my fried rice for his snapper, and then I just finished cooking a snapper in pesto sauce with pasta. And then I went for a swim with my wife and my daughter just here because I live right next to the water. So in as far as that's concerned, it's actually not that bad. But from a financial perspective, from a social perspective, from family life perspective, like my extended family, my mum, my dad, my sister, my brother-in-law, my niece, who are used to seeing like 2-3 times a week and having dinner with them and that. And obviously I'm the kind of person that likes to have 3 or 4 projects on the burner, from that perspective, it's been a little bit tough. But other than that, man, it's been really good, to be honest with you. Oliver Ekman says, fab. Right back at you, Oliver. Thank you for being here. Pip Dennison says, g'day. Fair afternoon, all. Another day of lockdown in paradise with the fair one. Original Sin says, hello, Coach Fab. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, sir. The Hungarian Hustler says, hope everyone is having a great Sunday. Joel Forbes gives the fist. And Christian Lorenz says, hello, great one. Hello to you, sir. Joseph says, looking forward to the Royval versus Guida fights. Ooh, that's going to be an interesting fight. Royval is a guy that his loss he beat a guy that I didn't think he was going to beat in Kaikara, France. And he beat him in style. And he lost to Brandon Moreno. And Brandon Moreno showed how good he was when he beat Royval, But Royval is a jack in the box, you know what I mean? You don't know what he's going to do. You don't know how he's going to do it. He's like hits from all angles. He's actually been on the podcast. Um, he was a guest on the podcast. Interesting guy. Um, I don't know who wins that one. I kind of lean towards Royval because he's beaten a lot of guys that I didn't think he was going to beat, and I don't say that in a bad way. I just like I don't know. He just fought like out of his skin a bunch of times that I've watched him fight. He showed he can do a lot of different things on the ground. He's very unpredictable, but he showed that with that unpredictable nature of his grappling, he's also susceptible to someone with really strong fundamental skills, And a lot of the times, what you find with people that have that natural talent in whatever sport it is, I was actually just talking to a fighter recently that very well known, has done a few good things. We were just talking about certain fundamental skill gaps that they have, and I was just saying, look, man, like you're super talented in that in your field. And sometimes what happens with that is you kind of bypass a lot of the fundamentals, and we see that in basketball, you see that at school, you see that in heaps of areas. There's heaps of kids that they get through school pretty easily. It's not very hard for them, but they don't really learn how to learn. So when they hit a kind of ceiling, they just don't don't continue with school, so to speak. So they do well up until year 8, year 9, year 10. And then when you have to start actually studying in year 11 and year 12, you don't go through with it, like as well as you can. And what happens to those kids a lot of the time, they just end up running MMA podcasts and doing a bit of coaching here and there. Um, Greetings from Toronto, Fab, says the Saint. Beetlejuice sounds Beetlejuice says, "You sound like quite the cook. Well done. Sounds like you're making the most of this situation." It's funny you say that, Mike. I'm not that good of a cook. I'm actually not that good of a cook at all. My wife's a very good cook. But what's happened is during the lockdown, like there were a couple of things. Like initially with the lockdown, I thought, right, I'm going to have about 3 months. This is going back 2 years ago now. I'm going to have about 3 months where I'm not going to be able to do the work that I do. That had slowed down incredibly. Um, so I'm going to try and improve my cooking skills, and I'm going to try and learn to surf. And yeah, we'll go with that. And I tried it's been 2 years now. My surfing's gotten a lot better. I'm still terrible, but it's gotten a lot better. And my cooking, yeah, I try and cook a few times a week now. My wife's a much better cook than I am, though. Anthony B says, "How's it going? Fabulous." It's going really well, Anthony. Beetlejuice says, "How have you been managing anxiety during these times? Has it increased?" For me, honestly, it hasn't. It hasn't. Like I said, most of my anxiety would come from a financial perspective, because, but even then, I'm okay. I'm not going to cry poor because it's not the situation. I'm actually all right. I'm just not doing what I would like to be doing. So I've got good perspective on that. I've got my hands around that. Um, like the big things are good, like my family's good. I live in a really good spot. So um I'm where I want to be, kind of thing. Other than financial is not I'm not kicking those goals like I'd want to be kicking them. But that's not a thing this will pass, you know what I mean? This at some point will pass. Things will settle back down, and things will be able to kick off again. So that's and family and all of that's a little bit hard. But no, the anxiety hasn't been that bad, to be honest with you. I will say this: I had my second Pfizer shot on Thursday. So on my Thursday. So today, right now for us, this is my Sunday midday, middle of the day Sunday. I had my Pfizer shot on Thursday afternoon, the second Pfizer shot, and I don't want to turn this into pro or anti-vaccine. I'm not going to get into those conversations. I'm just telling you my experience with the second shot of Pfizer for those of you that want to know. By the way, Brendan Royval's walking out now. Mate, I was okay. I had it at 2 p.m. on Thursday. By 6 p.m., I was kind of had a bit of a headache. By 1 a.m. on Friday morning now, I from 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. I did not stop shivering. I had a fever. I could not stop shivering. I was freezing, but I was hot at the same time. Real. I haven't been that sick for a long time. Then I had a headache and muscle soreness. I had muscle soreness like I got raped by a bunch of firemen, man. It was like handsome, strapping men. I was fucked, man. My body, every single part of my body hurt. And I had fevers and massive headaches and huge amount of fatigue. Then Saturday morning, the headaches were gone for the most part. Still had to take Panadol for it. Then but I was fatigued, so fatigued. Like if I went and did anything, I had to sleep. And I came home on Saturday afternoon and I slept for about 3 hours. So then my sleeping patterns are all messed up. So I didn't sleep last night. And now, like, a lot of the big things are gone, but I just have massive cramping through my intercostals, my abs, my back. I just get bad cramps through there. Like like right then, it just seized up on me then. But I'm through the worst of it. But it really knocked me on my ass. Um, that was a little bit scary. Yeah. Christian Lawrence has been a minute, mate. Glad to see you back. Tonight has been absolutely wild. Ignacio Bahamondes scored a spinning wheel kick KO. Yeah, man, I would have done him earlier, but like I said, I was just out of it today, man. Today I'm still out of it. Joe Schmo says, how are we, legends? David Martin says, how you doing, coach? Oliver Ekman says, nice shirt, Fab. Drew Doc says, how's it going, Lord Fab? Tuning back in for your expertise. Sounds like you're doing well. Good to hear. Kelvin or Cannonier tonight. I've got a sneaking feeling Gastelum wins. I think Gastelum's a little bit quicker, especially in that first round. Look to see what happens in that first round. Are you watching the Pacquiao fight as well? I am not, mate. I'm not. I'm like, as I said earlier, I'm just pretty beaten down, man. Okay. Marshall Smarter says, get back and learn how to learn. I will, man. I'm going through that now, man. I'm going through that now. Like, even the undergraduate and that, you kind of get through it if you like, kind of, it's not that hard to get through an undergraduate. But now I started the masters, and you kind of start to get to a point. There's certain things that you have to be able to do in undergraduate as well. But now as you get into the masters and that, you kind of have to have you have to put time aside to do the work. Um, Marshall Smarter says, how about the black belt surfing in Hawaii? Up for meeting there sometime. I'm far from a black belt in surfing, my friend. Far from a black belt in surfing. We're about to start, people, this fight. They touch gloves. Royval in the southpaw stance. Pantoja in the orthodox stance. Going back and forwards. Oh, nice inside leg kick by Royval. Royval goes looking for a big knee up the middle. Pantoja gets the takedown. And he's looking to take the back, as did Moreno. He's looking for exactly the same thing. Smart, man. Smart work, because Royval hasn't got the best wrestling defense. He's got one hook in, has Pantoja, the same way that this is almost the same, that kind of hip lock that Moreno had. Very smart from Pantoja, not to not muck around with it, and follow basically exactly what Moreno did. He's looking like doing very, very similar work. Royval throws an elbow from the back. He's trying to get that hook loose. Alex is staying glued to him, glued to his back. Really, really, really nice back control by Alex. Really, really nice work. Brandon's doing a good job of not letting those hooks come in. He's trying to Granby roll and whatnot, but you can tell that that Alex has just drilled this over and over. Now Brendan goes, look, I think he's looking for a heel hook. He's looking for a heel hook. He's going to end up looking for a heel hook. Good work by Brendan. Now he can do like a kind of calf slice from here, using that leg against the calf. Like, so it uses Alex's leg against Alex's right leg and does a kind of calf slice on that. Hard for him to tap from there, but this position also opens up figure four leg locks, heel hooks, a whole bunch of stuff. I don't think he's going to get Alex from this position. Maybe now he might. He's good now. He's going to go for like an Achilles hold, like a foot lock. But Alex still's holding his leg. Now he's looking for a modified heel hook. I don't think he's got the purchase on it right now to be able to do it. Now he's got a good position for a foot lock. He's got a really nice position for a foot lock. But I think that Alex is pretty savvy to this as well. He knows what to do, and he's holding on to Brendan's arm so not to give Brendan the purchase. Is Brendan going to be able to use this as a sweep? He's not, and we're back to Alex on his back. Brendan did manage to use it to get back to his feet, so that was good work by him. But I'm very, very impressed with Pantoja because he's showing that, man, it's very, very hard to do anything with him on the ground, and he's going to be searching and looking for the back of Brandon Royval. He's going to keep looking and looking and looking to get it. And he's doing a fantastic job. Great job. Drags him back down to the ground. And he's doing a great job. He's looking for this head arm choke too, I think. If Brandon doesn't roll in time, he went for a Granby roll, did Brandon. Now he's going to look to get to his feet, and he's managed to get to his feet. He's from the southpaw stance. Now he goes looking for the back of Pantoja. Pantoja gets to his feet almost immediately. Left straight to the body by Brandon Royval. Then he goes looking for a left high kick, then an inside kick. Again, another left to the body. Both guys trading there. Pantoja looks like a little bit the worse for wear. Looks like he may have spent a lot of his energy there on the ground, you know. It takes a lot of effort as well to get somebody down. Ooh. He got him in the eye. Brandon is not liking that shot. Might have got him right on the eyeball, that shot. Pantoja looks a little more labored. He doesn't look as fresh as he did at the start. And Brandon's starting to land some big shots on him. Nice right hand by Pantoja lands on Brandon. He's looking to land that right hand. Brandon does have a good chin on him, though. Again, he's just throwing a lot of volumes, a lot of good jabs at Pantoja. Alex throws a right hand over the top in the tie clinch. It takes a lot of energy to take someone down, hold them down, and try and ride him out over and over and over. If you're not getting a chance to rest either, because that's the thing that Brendan did really well. He didn't really give Alex a chance to rest in any of those positions, because when you're exchanging those grappling positions, the guy that's initiating the grappling, he wants to get you down and have a moment, have a position where he can rest. And Brendan didn't give that to him at all. That's one of the very, very important things, especially for MMA. When you land, you can't stop. Like, so if someone takes you down, when your back hits the ground, you have to get back up straight away. If you hit the ground and you go, you're done. That's a moment where they can cement their position. And even if takes you 3 seconds to get up, they were able to rest for a second, you know? If you can go, boom, hit the ground and you're already moving to the next position, that's what you want. So they can't rest at all. Alex Collar says, "G'day, Fab. Looks like us here in Auckland have joined the lockdown club. Hope you're holding up, champ." Yeah, man. You too, my friend. You too. I'm going to skip a couple of people, guys. Just a little bit ahead. Chris K says, "I was sick 4 days from each shot. Everyone is different." Oh, man. Yeah, I'm like going, this will be my 4th day. Monday will be. Okay, so we're off. Again, Alex coming forward, throwing combinations. But Brendan does a good job of keeping him at At the end of the jab, Brendan's saying there was an eye poke there. On the feet, Brendan definitely, other than getting hit sometimes with straight right hands, he does much better job than Alex. Just got hit by a jab and a flurry of punches right after I said that. Alex goes looking for a single leg. He slowed down though. Now when you slow down, now he's trying to roll into a deep half. He's in all sorts of trouble. That is Alex. He's very fatigued, it seems to me, after the amount of effort that he put on in the first round. Brendan's very smarty. He's not. I was gonna, man. Every time I go to say something, it happens. I said he's not overcommitting, and I was about to say that, and he overcommitted to a straight left, and Alex was able to take his back. I don't know how much gas he has in the tank, Alex. He's got one hook in. He's going to look for that hip lock again. No, he's got both hooks in. His legs are crossed, but he's very, very savvy grappler. There are footlocks you can do from that position for Brendan, but I don't think he's going to get someone like Alex with it. He's got a modified figure four on the body. Now it's a full body triangle from Pantoja. He's looking for a choke here. He's got it in pretty deep. It's on the chin, but yeah, this is under the chin now. It's in deep. It's in deep. It's in deep. This is Brendan's out. Brendan's going to be out. He's done. He tapped. Very, 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 very impressive. That's one of those things, man. Um, that's one of those things I think with Brendan. It's exactly what I said earlier, what I called earlier. You know, with all due respect to him and everything, he's a very, very, very talented young man. You know, very, very talented, very, very good at what he does, and he's long for the division and very flexible, and he's very creative. And I think that allows you to skip a few fundamental levels. Then when you get to levels where people have really strong fundamentals and they can get you into those positions, which is very hard. You saw how hard it is to get Brendan into those positions because he's so gifted and because he knows how to grapple too. He's a good grappler. But he's been already exposed a couple of times with that, you know. So it's interesting. It's an interesting little conundrum there because I think part of the reason why he is as good as he is he is so unpredictable and he does play to his strengths, which not enough guys do. And you know what? That fight, he could have landed a good shot. He was close to landing a few good shots in a few moments, in a few exchanges, which could have put the fight out as well. Melzy says, I had zero side effects. It's crazy how different everyone's reacting. Man, my mum and dad had no reaction to it. It's crazy. Um, um, sorry, guys, I skipped a whole bunch of them. I skipped a whole bunch just so we're more current. TJC says, love the leg lock game in BJJ from guys like Jones, the two Ryans, and Tonin. Hope to see it implemented more and more in MMA. Man, watch Imanari's old fights, Sakuraba. They were good guys, man, with the leg locks as well back in the day. Imanari in particular, Imanari was doing like a lot of the stuff we see today. He was already doing that. He wasn't as good of a grappler as, you know, Craig Jones and whatnot, but you know, Ramina Sato was another guy that was a big leg locker in MMA. Yeah, Ramina Sato, Sakuraba, I said his name a second ago, Imanari. There were a few really good leg locking dudes before these guys. Pajares, of course. Pajares would have been a barrel of fucking fun to fight against. Um, so yeah, like it's definitely got a place in MMA for sure. Hanoi Tripper says Jay was a returning Kiwi who brought it back. Ask her. Chris K says Pantoja was reacting poorly to the body shots in round one. Royval should stick to the body. He was doing a good job, man, Royval, at times, you know, he definitely was. Sage says, hey, Fab, good to see you. Just back from my surfing, beautiful Copacabana. Um, good for you, man. It's handy right now more than ever to live by the beach. It's always nice to live by the beach, but right now it's more than worth it. Maybe. Well, Chris K says, well, Royval snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. Definitely needs to keep his composure when an opponent is compromised. Yeah, it was just one of those things, man. I think it was yeah, it was a tough fight, man. It was a tough fight. I think Royval is got a lot of potential. I think there's a few things, even strategically, that he can work on as well. But it's one of those things, you don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater because some part of the thing that makes him so good is his unpredictability. Yeah. Oliver Aikman says, damn, Royval was on his way to a title fight and now is on a losing streak. And that, my friends, is the way the cookie crumbles in MMA, in sport, in life. Marshall Smarter says Imanari was butt scooting on offense in MMA. No one does that. No, sir. No one does that. No one does that. Yeah, he was incredible, man. If you get a chance to watch some of Ramina Sato's fights back in the day, he was another guy that went for the leg locks like that as well. Um, Minoa man as well. He was another dude. It was just it's a different time as well. Very, very different time. I think he called out Brendan Moreno. From my understanding, I can't really see the Brandon Moreno looks pumped, like he wants a fight, of course. Um, Vince Pichel versus Austin Hubbard. Okay, and the co-main event is Clay Guida versus Mark Madsen. Actually, like the Mark Madsen dude's, he's very good, man. He's silver medalist in Greco-Roman wrestling, but I don't know putting it all together if he's going to be able to. Who knows? Who knows? Let's see what happens. Um, Oliver Ekman says Paul Harris had the legendary tactic of having a doctor write a note saying he would die if he cut weight. That's a champion tactic right there. That Craig Jones was on the podcast that he was speaking about Paul Harris, like they were meant to grapple at like say 190 pounds and something like that, and or 185, some whatever it was, and he came in at like 225 or something ridiculous. I can't remember now what it was, but it was something ridiculous. And Craig was like, "Nah, man, I'm not. What are you talking about? This was the deal, da da da." And he goes, "Nah, look, I've got this." And he had a note from his doctor saying that he couldn't cut any more weight or he would die. And so they grappled each other like with this guy outweighing him by missing weight basically by 30 something pounds or something like that. Baby. Okay, cool. Thank you. Yeah, so Paharis, monster that he is. Marshall Smartest, glad to have you with us, my friend. Glad to have you with us. Watching the old, like back in the day, like I love the old Pride fights and that, old Pride and all those fights. They were really, really cool, man. Big fan of Sakuraba as well. Like just his style of grappling, the way that he grappled was really, really interesting. He was a very good freestyle wrestler before anything. Marshall Smarter says Paul Harris just stayed on his knees and bitch slapped Craig the whole time. Thank you for hosting, brother. Yeah, that's exactly what Craig said. Craig said exactly the same thing. He said, um, he just got the shit slapped out of him. Not as bad as Cyborg versus uh Cyborg versus, oh my god, I can't think of the guy's name. The best grappler in the world at the moment. Um, oh my god, Gordon Ryan. That's how could I forget? Elaine Cortez says Fab, Izzy and Rob won't fight until 2022. Okay, why is that? Um, Marshall Smarter says Cyborg versus Gordon. Yeah, I could not remember his name. I had a mental like block. Absolutely exhausted, man. Absolutely. I haven't been this messed up for a long time, man. It really, really, really messed me up. Really messed me up. I love when they put the gambling things. They say, like, if you or anyone, blah, 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 the gambling things, but they're advertising gambling. It's the best. Alex Collis says, bit of drama in the BJJ community over Cyborg and the sexual assault allegations. I don't know anything about them. What happened? Faisal Al Ahaji says, I love Pride too, but I just feel a lot of the fights were fixed. You can tell the fights that were fixed in Pride. Like, it wasn't like um, the ones that you like, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like people try and make it sound like that. Like, the ones that were fixed were fixed. You could see that they were fixed. Um, but there were fucking some real fights in there as well. Um, Marshall Smarter says, but Cyborg actually looked mad. Paul Harris can slap a man for 20 minutes straight with a friggin' smirk on. A good trade for a hostage interrogator. Could you yeah, man. And then he does. You know what else is scary about him? That crazy hug that he does at the end of the fights, at the end of the grappling matches. That you know, if anyone that's seen his matches knows that he gives like this crazy ass hug that's worse than I think would give you more concussive injury than any other things that you've ever had. Um, Oliver Ekman says, Fab, did you see the crazy last second spinning heel kick KO in the prelims earlier tonight? I did not. Blake B says, where does Dylan Dennis rank in the BJJ community? Is he really legit? Yeah, he's a very, very, very good grappler. Very, very, very good grappler. Christian Laurent says, Izzy doesn't have a return voucher, and I know Rob will get a travel exemption. But the UFC wants to have that fight in NZ or Melbourne again, but due to current conditions, they won't. Okay. Well, I don't know. Alex Collis says, sounds like Cyborg was covering up for his friend who was grooming underage BJJ girls. But let's not go down that dramatic rabbit hole without the full story. Yeah, look, I don't know. I didn't hear anything about it. I don't know anything about it. I don't know if Cyborg did that or not. Um, the only reason I'm going to weigh in at all, and this is not even about Cyborg or about um, I'm not talking about Cyborg here because I don't know, I don't know the story. I will say this: if you're doing shit like that with underage girls, like there's no, there's no right. You, I have no sympathy for you but I will say this, man. Anybody that has to go through those type of allegations or those types of suspicions, and they haven't actually done it, then you have to live with that stigma, that cloud hanging over your head. I feel massively sorry for you as well. Um, as a teacher, like having been a teacher for a long time and coached in that for a long time, I I know how dangerous it is to put yourself in any type of position like that, where um, that can even anyone can even mention it. You know what I mean? I've always, yeah. So it's you have to be really, really careful. That's one piece of advice I would give anyone that's coaching. It's like, and I'm not talking about cyborg. I don't know, but I'm just saying from my experience as a coach, as a teacher, having seen shit like that go down, where I know, for example, that the guy didn't do anything, and the scrutiny that he was put under, and I've seen police get involved with stuff where I know the guy didn't do anything, or at least I'm 99% sure that the guy didn't do anything. And I've seen cases where I think someone should have stepped in. I've seen that over the time that I've taught in jujitsu, in wrestling, in education system. I've seen some stupid shit go down. Um, and I think number one thing for me, like there'd be no situation where I would be behind like closed doors with like a female student or even a male student. I just wouldn't do it. If if I was going to talk to someone and it had to be just me and somebody else, I'd always have somebody else there. And if I couldn't, the door would be open. I'd talk to people in the hallway. Where possible, I wouldn't touch anyone, And it's something that you have to be real careful about, man, because I think nowadays, like it's a massive thing, and it should be, like it should be. I think people have to be really careful about that. You have to really, and I've dealt with people before where they like, nah, Fab, you're paranoid and you're crazy, and the problem is, dude, that I've seen it go bad. And people don't understand. They can say, I've worked in this for 30 years and it's never happened. And what they don't get is it only has to happen once. Only once does someone have to accuse you of that, and then another person verify that, yeah, I saw them, or yeah, he continuously talks to her and that, and you're fucked. Even if it doesn't go any further than the accusations and all the other stuff, even if it doesn't go further than that, it's still like you having to play catch up to free your name, and it's real bad, man. Um, okay. Marshall Smarter says the head slap, necktie, body lock. I love you, boy. That one, my friend. That one. That one looks like it would separate a couple of my ribs and slip a disc. Christian Lorenz says Dana wants that fight in the Anzac region, so he's willing to wait. He might be waiting a while. I don't know. This fight's about to start, and we're off, people. Hubbard in the blue. Oh, Hubbard shoots in, hits a nice kind of deep double leg, pushes Pichel up against the cage. Got a good positioning. Vinc turns him around, puts him up against the cage. Both guys exchanging knees in the clinch. Got both guys in the orthodox stance, with Hubbard controlling the center of the octagon. Little level changes by Hubbard. Hubbard does a good job of switching back from southpaw to orthodox and back again. And so is Pichel. Pichel came in and almost ate a knee there on his way in. He has to put something in between when he walks in. He has to walk in either with punches or kicks. Hubbard's doing a good job. I'm very impressed with Hubbard. They exchange leg kicks. Both guys landing nice flush leg kicks. They're both switching stances, but Hubbard is pretty savvy, because what's happening is when Pichel switches, right? When Vince switches stances, Hubbard switches with him, and so what that does is take away Vince's angle. So when you switch stances, you're looking for a different angle. You're looking like for a cheat code, basically, into a different angle. And when the guy switches with you, you don't have it anymore. That's why, like, when you see guys that's what they do, they switch stances a lot. If you're going to fight them, you have to switch with them. He's doing a very good job of it, Hubbard. Vince landing some nice leg kicks himself, though. But he doesn't look as comfortable as Hubbard in the striking realm. And what happens with that is, even if you hit hard, but you're not as comfortable, it's the same as with grappling, same as with anything. You're not as efficient. And if the fight keeps going like this, um, I think the fluidity of Hubbard's striking is just going to be take less toll on his body than it is on Pichel's, and he's going to be able to maximize his efforts. Looks for a big overhand right, does Pichel. Christian Lorenz says, Fabio, a fan of Pacquiao? I like Pacquiao a lot, yeah. Marshall Smarter says, I heard some sketch a while back there, but I didn't hear about the Borg. When teaching, always had gym cameras, really good for peace of mind. Yeah, we had gym cameras as well, man. We had gym cameras, and yeah, in teaching and that we had cameras as well. But it's not just the teaching; it's the interaction that occurs as well. And yeah, having the cameras, keeping a record of stuff. If you did have to talk to a student, or you did have to talk to anything, write it down. Write down what time you spoke to them, who was present, so you can always go back to it. Like if you ever had to hang back to talk to someone, you know, do that. Try not to make a habit of that, even if, because it's perception that kills you. That's the thing people don't get as well. Is like I might know that I had nothing to do with that. That might be my cousin. I was never interested in him. Never, I'm not going to think whatever. But the thing is, people don't know that. You know what I mean? They're watching that. They don't know I'm happily married, got two daughters. This person that I'm talking to is my cousin, etc., etc. They don't know that. So people are watching that going, this guy always da 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 da. So you gotta understand that it's not. A lot of people are just happy ticking off their own box and going, oh, I know that. I know that it wasn't true, so I'm happy with that. No, it's not good enough, man. That isn't good enough. It's perception that kills you every time. And I say this, man, because I've seen that happen. A friend of mine that happened to, and I remember speaking to him. I said, "Man, you're cruising for bruising there, man. Like, don't do that shit." And like, yeah, went real south for him. He didn't do anything, man, and but there was too much stuff for him. That I'll talk about it later. A minute 7 seconds to go in the first round. They just stopped due to an eye poke or a low shot. I wasn't sure exactly what happened then. Inside leg kick by Pichel. I see this fight. I can't judge it. I don't know who's winning this fight. To me, Hubbard looks a little bit more fluid with his striking. And looks, but and Pichel looks like constantly on the back foot. But but Vince has landed some good shots, man, as well. So I don't know, but I think Hubbard's winning this fight. Nice little left hook by Hubbard. Oh, nice leg kick by Hubbard, by Vince, drops Hubbard. Hubbard immediately goes for a single leg, then works his way back to his feet. Vince has landed some nice big leg kicks on that lead leg of Hubbard's, though. Very, very impressed by that. 3 seconds to go. Lands another kick, does Vince. And that's the bell. Both guys touch gloves. Um, yeah, no, a mate of mine, like he wasn't, he was married to another friend of mine, blah, blah, blah. He wasn't interested in any of that stuff or whatever. But he was a young guy, good looking dude, and he was helping out with a lot of he's helping out a lot of the girls' teams and that at the school. And no, not that that's bad, man. But I was saying to him like certain just interactions, like he had like certain conversations with some of the girls, like stuff that was happening at home and everything. And I said to him, man, you doing that just from me being a teacher and having seen it before, like I know you want to help and I know that you want to do the right thing, but that that proximity is no good for you, man. You're not a little old man teacher. You're not, you're a young, good looking dude. Um, the girls are young and they probably have some sort of crush on you, as well. And so now you can deal with a disgruntled girl that is not happy with the situation. She's young, her head's developing, man. It's not like thing. And then you also have problems with the other teachers that may want your job, may not want you to get their job, may be jealous of you, all sorts of things. Anyway, somebody was one of the teachers putting a big complaint against him. And man, he went through the ringer, dude. He went through the fucking ringer. I'm telling you. It was very, very scary situation for him. You know, Hubbard goes looking for a takedown. Great takedown defense by Vince. Now Vince is looking for a guillotine here. I don't think he's going to get it. Hubbard's head's out. Nice work there. Nice leg kick again by Vince. The thing is, while Hubbard has looked, in my opinion, the more fluid striker, I think that Vince landing the leg kicks that he has and the way that he's landed them has actually probably been the most effective strikes in the fight. And the leg kicks, man, that's what that like. If you look at it, I think Hubbard's probably the better kicker. But Vince kicking with the kicker. Now, a nice broomstick sweep down to the floor by Hubbard gets Vince down. Vince starting to work back to his feet. He's got the hip lock here, but Vince gets back to his feet. Great work. The thing I was going to say is but you have to kick with a kicker. If Vince didn't kick, oh, nice little flying knee by Vince. Vince goes looking for a double leg, doesn't get it, landing big shots in the clinch, both guys. And if he didn't kick with the kicker and capitulates that space, that time in the center, he'd be giving it all up, or he'd be giving it all up. And now that he has kicked, he's got a massive welt, does Hubbard, on the outside of his shin on the tibialis anterior, which would absolutely be compromising his footwork. So now he's able to land, like, even if him pretending he's going to kick now makes Hubbard lift his legs, makes him move. So Hubbard's not kicking him. If he's lifting his leg to check or to avoid or to slide out, he's not kicking. So then by kicking with a kicker, you start to take up that space. But he's landing big shots on that leg. He can't take too many of those shots, Hubbard. Oh, spinning heel kick to the leg by Vince. Okay, I'm skipping a few people's comments. Marshall Smarter says, I understand how precarious it could be. Advocate for gym cameras. Man, get gym cameras. Understand that perception is what kills you every fucking time. So don't be that dude. Don't be that instructor that is overly friendly with the girls. Don't do it. You know what I mean? Just don't. Um, yeah, I'm especially when you have underage, like especially have underage people, like nah. Even before when I've had to do classes, like if I have to do a private class, Hubbard has got him down to the ground. He's in Vince's full guard. Vince got an open guard at the moment. He's got to get his feet on his hips and push off him. Hubbard's starting to pass the guard, and he's gonna Vince. So he passed Vince's guard, and Vince switched to a heel hook and used that to escape from the mount. There's 30 seconds to go. Oh, nice little right hand. $17 seconds to go. Yeah, just don't be that dude, man. Don't be that guy that um was always rolling with the girls, all that shit. Don't be that instructor. That's my opinion. You can go do whatever you want. Marshall Smarter says, definitely start BJJ. What schools are around you, Oliver? Oliver is a ex wrestler from Iowa, so he should do jiu-jitsu, but he should keep wrestling as well. Christian Lorenz says Fab Connor is already riding a bike again, mate, and walking. Well, let's see. Let's see what happens. Like I'm not surprised that he can do that, but you'd have to see what his recovery is actually like inside his bone, because Weidman was doing all that shit, and then it didn't work out. Chris K says, is the government compensating businesses and employees for lost income due to all the lockdowns? Look, the Australian government, as far as that, they're doing okay with that. They're doing well with that. But for someone like myself, it's not on the same level. You know what I mean? It isn't, and like an opportunity cost of like what I could be making, so to speak, is hard. But again, I can't complain, dude. It is that they do, yeah. Um, in Iowa, you got really good grappling in Iowa, Oliver, especially with the wrestling. Don't stop wrestling, man. Marshall Smarter says, gangs of New York called. They said you can keep the mustache, but they want their straight razor back. Another leg kick by Vince. Oh, then he fakes it and hits him with a nice uppercut. Then he comes in swinging for the fences. Pushes Hubbard up against the cage, goes looking for a double leg. He's changed it to a single, hits him with another knee to the legs. He's doing a good job. If he should just, yeah, he's smart, Vince, man. He's been around the block. He's been fighting for a long, long time. See, someone like this that's got this much fight experience, like he can make it really difficult for you. And I do believe he's probably running away with this fight. It's a close fight. It's a tough fight to call. I'm skipping a few. Ren Wichel says, I briefly had a sensei who loved to try to get into the pants of all the female students or training partners. He was almost predator-like with his approach. Creepy. Yeah, man, people like that, it should be reported. Because you know what it is with that? I'm not talking about a guy that he's looking for a broomstick sweep. Hubbard, he gets the broomstick sweep. He's got the wrist control. Does he have it? He seems to have it. He does. This will make it much harder for Vince to get up. Now he's locked up that leg as well, has Hubbard. But Vince's ability to get back to his feet is very, very good. He rides him over, does Hubbard. He just doesn't want to end up on the bottom because this fight's close, man. This fight's close. It could be around a piece. I can't tell you because I haven't been judging the fight. Nice. He's got the head control where he needs to have it. He's got the underhook. This is not good for Hubbard. Hubbard looks to elevate him to gain some space. He's going to look. It looks like he's going to try look for an armbar, but I don't think he has the angle on that. He has to get that left knee between his hips, but he managed to use that to get it back up to his feet. Great work. What Vince is doing, the leg that he's holding, that's the leg you have to hold. And that's what's not going to let Hubbard get back to his feet. Vince is not a bad wrestler. He's quite a good wrestler. Oh, he's looking for that inverted triangle. He's not going to get it, though. He hasn't got it. There's 2 minutes to go. Hubbard looks pretty spent, and Vince looks quite comfortable there. Can throw a few little elbows from there to keep it down there. Doing a great job of controlling that near leg. That near leg's the one that counts because that's the leg that's going to get back out and get you to your feet. Really good job. Nice. That was like borderline because Hubbard had his hand down and then Vince lifted him up and threw the knee. 1 minute, 31 seconds to go. Keeps kneeing those legs. He's going to have sore legs tomorrow, is Hubbard. 1 minute and 25 seconds to go. I don't know. I think Hubbard could be behind in this fight. Pichel has landed the more significant strikes in every round, but that's not always very clear as to what is a significant strike or not. Hubbard gets him to the ground after kind of getting dropped and then catching a low single. Man, Vince will probably win this fight with volume, tenacity, experience. Really, really impressive. 44 seconds to go. Nice little elbow over the top by Hubbard. Pichel kicks him off, goes looking for a takedown of his own. Nice. He arm drags out and throws a left hook out of it. Like just the nuances that he's able to do in in those exchanges from the experience that he's had in the fights that he's had. Man, he's rocked Hubbard right at the end. He's rocked Hubbard. Hubbard throws a knee up the middle. Oh my God. Vinc landed some big shots. He won that fight, I believe, ladies and gentlemen. I do believe he won that fight. Yeah, Ren, as far as what you're saying, I think, the thing is with the senseis and all that, I'm not talking about a guy that, he's been teaching jiu-jitsu and, he's always been, above board guy and et cetera, et cetera. And one day he meets a girl in the jiu-jitsu class that he teaches. She comes to his school. She's, he's 33, she's 26, blah, blah, blah. I'm not talking about that guy. But I am talking about the guy that like systematically sleeps with his students, irrespective of age, the guy that and all girl, because there's a thing you got to understand with those positions as a teacher, as a you know as a community leader, whether it's religious, educational, sporting, or whatever. People people coming to you, you are in a position of power over that person in the class. You really are, like, and people come to you with a certain level of vulnerability. So you have to be able to exercise some level of constraint. If you have to write, don't touch the girls on the back of your hands, if that's what it's going to take, just so it serves as a prompt before you do. And then underage, it's just another level on top of it. Because I'm talking about not even underage. I'm just talking you have to be able to exercise a level of constraint when you're in a position of power. And and I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for. Not just power, but people looking up to you. That's why you see these things that happen in religious circles. You see it happen in other things, and people make, like, people go, "Oh, it's such a big deal. What's a big deal?" I don't think it's a big deal if it happens once, twice. You met your first wife in the church, or you met your first wife at jiu-jitsu, and then a long time girlfriend. Yeah, that's whatever. That you divorced, and then thing. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a dude, a leader of the community that habitually preys upon people that he has power and they're vulnerable, and they come to him and they speak to him about certain things, and he's preying on that and taking advantage of that. That I'm not even talking about them being underage. Like, that already is like off. Um, Marshall Smarter says Iowa Lakes Jiu Jitsu looks like your best bet, Oliver. Iowa Lakes Jiu Jitsu, you just got a shout out. You just got a shout out. And through Marshall Smartest, and I will take some of the credit myself because I was the one that set up this chat. We probably got you a new customer. We're not going to ask for commission. We're just going to say, brother, there you go. Joseph says, Coach, is there a nice way to tell someone in your gym you don't know that they got staff asking for a friend? Laugh out loud. Man, I've been through that, eh? I've been through that. It gets to a point, though, because I've had staff. I've had staff bad, dude. Real bad. Real bad. I've had it cut out of my leg. I've had all sorts of. I had surgery for it. And I've had friends that have gone into surgery for it. I've had friends that miss out on fights. I've had friends that were football players and couldn't play an important game. So with that, it's just go up to them and just say, "Hey, dude, I think that's staff." Just be straight, because for me, I don't want to offend you. And if you're not a dickhead and you genuinely didn't know, which bad staff, I don't know how you didn't know. But if I didn't know and I just had staff on my arm and somebody came up to me and said, "Hey man, listen, I don't know if you know, but that's staff, and this is what staff can do, yada yada yada," and show them the picture of Kevin Randleman's ribs when he had the staff and it ate a hole in him. Um, I would be appreciative, I would be really appreciative. I'd be like, "Thank you, man. I'm glad that you told me that." Now, if the person's an idiot and he wants to continue to train and he wants to, or he's going to be an idiot about it and have an argument with you, then I don't really care about offending him. And I would dob on him if it's not my gym. If it's my gym, I would say to him, "Hey, mate, you have staff, and this is if it's my gym. You can't train until that's gone. but hey, here's what you do, blah, 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 blah. And they're not allowed back in. And that's on, I don't even care. That's not even an argument to me. Plus, if it's my gym, there's already things that stipulate that you cannot train with staff. That's number one. Number two is if it's not my gym, I'll tell the instructor. Anyways, I'll tell the instructor right off the bat, and I'll tell the dude, and I just won't roll with him. But if he's got staff and he's putting it all over the mats, I am not going to roll in that gym. And if the instructors are cool with a dude having staff and rolling on the mats, I'm not, because those mats are basically a petri dish of just fungus and crap. So I'm not going to roll. So that'd be my take on it. Oliver Ekman says, just point and yell staff. That's close to that, man. Marshall Smarter says, just tell them they have staff off to the side quietly. That's right. Ask if they have a rash guard or can go to a walk-in clinic. Just takes a few days to get rid of, but can take a few days to rest and heal. Yeah, just get off the mats, please. Faisal Haji says, did you try Whitman's gloves and you think it's time to change the UFC gloves? I've never tried Whitman's gloves. I'm pretty sure they'd be better than the UFC ones. Just because I think the UFC didn't evolve, not because the UFC is not bad, but blah, blah. The UFC didn't evolve the gloves necessarily with the eye pokes in mind. The eye pokes became a problem thereafter, and I think Whitman designed them with that in mind, if that makes sense. Taking the Fair One Mobile to Tube Rock for a swim, not bad for midwinter. Thank you, sir. Oliver Hickman says, thanks for the shout out, Fab. I start college on Monday and I'm going to ask if I can walk on. Don't ask, dude. Don't ask. Just take your gear. Marshall Smarter says, as someone who has walked onto 3 university teams, just go beat ass unapologetically. There you go. Marshall Smarter says, Vince wins by making it look good. Good mustache, good ink, good leg kicks, good. Oliver Ekman says, I've seen that Vince on The Ultimate Fighter. Marshall Smarter says, religious, educational, sporting, aka jiu-jitsu. Marshall Smarter says, I know of a weird guy like 45 who hits on the low 20s. That's too much for me. Dude, I think, like sometimes like you see that. Like I'm 41 now, right? And 20-year-olds are like kids. Like, no offense to people that are 20, but if I have a friend that I'll give you an example. I got a mate who's 50 and their partner's 30. And that just happened. If that happens, I'm like, okay, but you preying on someone that's like people, yeah, it's too much for me, dude. It's weird, man. It is fucking weird. But it's weird to me to see people preying on people of their own age. Like there are websites nowadays, man, where you can meet people like that, and you can, you know, you can bypass all the formalities, man. You don't have to be at a gym doing that. Like it's not what people are going there for. And I don't like that shit in my gym anyways, because what ends up happening is people don't say, oh, so and so at thing. It'll end up being my name coming up. It'll be Fab's gym coming up in the middle of that conversation. It got nothing to do with you and whatever happened to you that you're now basically a sexual predator. And the other thing is, man, I don't want people watching. And I spoke to someone the other day about this. Like, I don't want people saying, oh, rah, 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 and then they're watching you go to work in my gym, and they're not going to bring my sister. They're not going to bring their sister or their wife or their girlfriend to my gym. And no, I want the business, apart from what I think on a moral perspective. So no, I want the business. So take that somewhere else, please. Um, Leighton J says, had my first son the other day, named him Fab. If you did have a son, good for you, man. Congratulations. Oliver Ekman says, everyone go and like and subscribe. Help the homie Fabricio with their out. Yeah, man, please, yeah, if you haven't already, please hit the like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. Uzay says, "Hi, are you watching Pacquiao versus Ugas? Who's going to win?" I don't know who's going to win that one. I am not watching that right now. Just yeah, like I said to the others, man, I've just been smashed. I had my second Pfizer shot and it destroyed me. Ken who says, "Hey coach, feeling like I'm plateaued in my BJJ gym. I can submit people my size, but against other white belts who are bigger, stronger than me, I find it hard to be competitive." Um, that's the name of the game, my brother. That's the name of the game. Honestly, you're gonna like without getting into too many things, but you're gonna feel that a lot of the times in any sport that you do in anything. And honestly, this is right now when you feel you've plateaued. This is your your learning curve. I know it doesn't feel like it, but this is where you're going to do the most of your learning. When you're on fire and you're tapping everyone and blah blah blah, that everyone's been through that. Where you like, man, I'm the man. I'm pretty much tapping everyone in this gym, and you go through that for a little bit, and then man, then people catch up because not everyone learns at the same level. Some people catch up. You kind of like stagnate out. Whatever happens, happens. New blood comes into the gym, whatever, And then there's a period where you don't tap, anyone around your size or your skill level. You can't tap them. They tap you like a typewriter. And that is when your learning occurs. That's what you got to remember when you're going through that period. Is like this is when my learning's happening. Is during the plateaus, during the people say you want to avoid the plateaus. You want to avoid the plateaus if it's because you're not training. You want to avoid the plateaus because if it's because you're not happy at training. You don't want to go. You're overtraining. You're burnt out. Yeah, okay, that can be a plateau. But sometimes those plateaus happen because you're at the right kind of level to learn, and you have to push through that. When you push through it and you come out the other side and you go through a period of it's also periodization in your training, and you come through that, you get to the other cycle, and you start to move well again, and you take all the stuff that you learned while you were getting tapped like a typewriter. Um, yeah, it's an important. I think those plateaus you should start to kind of even look for them. Also, you're probably grappling better guys, like you just said. Now you probably went from the white belts. White belt's funny, dude, because you white belt for 3 months, 4 months and a new white belt comes in, and this is any martial art, not just jujitsu. New white belt comes in, new. Guy never did any martial arts, and you can tap him, and you feel like the man because you'll tap him pretty easily. Same as if you were boxing. If you box for 3 months, 5 days a week, and a dude walks in off the street, never boxed before, you'll be like haggler on him. But then you start going against the other guys that have been doing it as long as you. They know the same moves. And if the guy's as strong as you, then you're back to having that dogfight. And it will happen the whole way through. You'll get to black belt and there'll be dudes that you just can't do anything with, man. If you roll with good enough guys, that's always going to happen. So just bite down and keep going. Moku, does Clay have a chance? Of course he has a chance. Of course. Marshall Smarter says, I'm not good. I'm 31, laugh out loud, and 22 is a child or at least childlike. What do you mean? Are you good? I do think like there is. Oh, we've kicked off. Okay, Jones versus Kakhramonov. Kakhramonov in the orthodox stance, Jones in the southpaw stance. Kakhramonov is feinting that kick, that inside low kick. He's feinting it. Oh, but then he threw it up high, and Jones goes looking for the takedown. I'm going to call Kakhramonov Said. His name's Saidyokub Kakhramonov. Big throw there. Said is on top. He's got Jones. He's got him in the front. Headlock, jumps a guillotine with an arm in. This is deep. But he's let go of the arm in. Now he's going for just a normal guillotine, and it's in deep. I'm impressed if Jones gets out of this. Jones going to get out of it because Said hasn't got both arms locked. He's got an arm in guillotine now. I should just keep that. So, he was able to roll out of it, was Jones, man. Very, very impressed with that. The problem I saw there as well was Said changed that grip a couple of times, and that kind of, lets you breathe again, gets a second wind. I'm not saying it was wrong what he did, but I probably wouldn't have let go of the arm in from what I saw. Of course, I wouldn't have done anything to Jones. He would have knocked me out the moment we walked into the cage. So that's no disrespect to Said. Said has got that whizzer. He's looking for that throw again. Got very good balance, though, Said. Jones pushed him up against the cage. He's got the better head position. Said is looking for a knee. He goes looking for an outside trip again. An Uchimata variation. I don't think it matters. Marshall Smarter says, "Am I good? I'm 31, and 22 is a child, or at least childlike." I don't think it matters as much. I think it's a predatory behavior that's the problem. That's my opinion. Not even the age difference per se, but like your predatory behavior. That if you're in a position of power, that's what's creepy. Kenahuna says, been gone for 2 years and feel like I'm not going anywhere because it's easy rolling with guys smaller or less skilled, but bigger, stronger, or wrestlers. I struggle. Any thoughts? That's for everybody, man. That's for everybody. Yeah, man. Just honestly, just keep going. Just keep going. If you haven't wrestled before, probably wrestle as well. But honestly, keep going. Like it's not you're not alone. Everybody goes through that. And everybody struggles. Like like when they say jujitsu, like people made it out like every martial art when it has its golden era, people make it out like it's magical. Because looking for a wizard does Said doesn't get it. He's being held up against the cage by Jones. But jujitsu is like any other martial art, man. And technique is the best application of strength. It's not something magical. So when you find a guy who's bigger and stronger than you and with the same level of technique, it's going to be fucking hard. It's going to be very hard. He's going to have the advantages. 100% he's going to have the advantages. Strength matters. If you don't think it matters, have a look at the IFBJJ competitions, any jiu-jitsu competitions. Just have a look at how big and fucking yoked those guys are and tell me that you think that if it didn't matter, would they be that big and strong? It matters, dude. It matters in all martial arts. It matters in combat. It absolutely matters. So don't feel bummed that you get mauled and raped by dudes that are bigger and stronger than you with better technique. Or even if you don't have the same level of technique, but you're a lot stronger, it makes a difference. If you roll with a girl, she can be a lot better than you in jiu-jitsu, but if you can tell that if you spazzed out, it'd be very hard for her to tap you. So he keeps looking for that Uchimata kind of variation. Jones holding him up against the cage. There's 6 seconds to go in this round. It's very hard to gauge because the one that came closest to finishing that round was Said, but he didn't finish it, and Jones held him up against the cage for most of the time. Yeah, and wrestlers don't forget, wrestlers have been grappling. Like if you guys grappled his whole life, the rules of the grappling are different, but he still grapples. He still understands like body positioning stuff that you as a white belt still haven't grasped. So don't be too hard on yourself, man. Don't be too hard on yourself. And another thing is, do it for the thrill and excitement and for the love of actual grappling, not for the results thereof. So if the results thereof are to go there and tap everyone out and it's going to be hard, man. It's going to be hard because especially from now till brown belt or purple belt at least, you're going to find that there's going to be a lot of guys that are just going to give you headaches, man. And even then, you're going to find blue belts that are strong as hell, played football their whole life, and were just monsters, man. Some people are just really, really gifted at combat. They really understand where they should be in a combat situation. There's people that just have that. The same way that you see guys that just walk onto a basketball court and you can tell like this guy's never played basketball, but in 2 or 3 years, this guy's going to be quite good. He understands it. He gets it. He's got soft hands, big hands. He's got long arms, long legs, got great vertical jump. It's the same deal with jiu-jitsu. There's guys that have the right build, but then they also just get it. They just get where and when they told something, they just get it. So you're always going to have all of those people in it. So don't put too much pressure on yourself. Just enjoy going there. Enjoy. And if you don't, maybe go to a different school. But if you do enjoy it and you like the instructors and you like all of that, just go and enjoy it, man. Don't go there with the thing I'm going to get smashed and this and that, because you are. If you got a bit of balls about you, then you're going to try and grapple tougher guys than you, which you should. And you should get your ass kicked. If you're a white boy, you only been doing jiu-jitsu for 2 years and you weren't getting your ass kicked by bigger, stronger guys with the same level of technique as you, then it's bullshit. Jones goes looking for a single leg. It's good to get your ass kicked, is what I'm saying. Saeed landed some big shots on Jones then, some nice shots. Jones was able to get the single leg and push Saeed up against the wall, but Saeed is pretty impressive with those shots, man, that he landed. And his takedown defense is very, very good. Now they're exchanging short punches up against the cage, little uppercuts. Nice little elbows from Saeed. Nice elbows. Jones taking a lot of punishment here, man. Saeed is looking also for a Kimura here. If Jones does commit to a single leg, it's almost not impossible. Like, no, it's possible. No, I'm just saying it's almost impossible if someone's got a good Kimura defense for you to finish that single leg like that. You have to bail on it. Nice combinations by Saeed. Jones in a little bit of trouble here. Jones in a little bit of trouble. Dives for a single leg. Saeed's landing uppercuts in the clinch. He lands a right hand over the top. Jones is in trouble, man. Nice right hand lead by Saeed. Oh, Jones moving, bobbing, and weaving, but he's getting hit. Jones looking for the clinch, but Saeed's throwing, man. He's throwing some bombs. He's throwing some big bombs. I think he's going to get Jones out of there, man, because Jones is bobbing and weaving like a lot. I think Saeed's going to throw a knee up in there in a second when he gets the chance. He's throwing some good body shots. Now Jones comes back with combinations of his own and shoots a double leg. Nice work by Jones. And he gets a fight to the ground as Saeed punched himself out. Maybe Jones felt that in those punches, that they were coming with less force or coming with less power. Wow. Jones did a fantastic job of getting the fight to the ground. And this is what I talk about, that moment where you can rest. This is what I'm talking about. He's gotten to that point where he can rest. Saeed is working a lot, very, very, very hard to keep him in that position. But he's not using that underhook. He's got the underhook, but he's not turning onto his side. He's not using the underhook. Now he's turned to his side, but he's given up the underhook. He's put up a shield with his left leg, and that's good. That's a good start to create some space there, but it's not going to be enough. TJC says, did you see Kayla Harrison's last fight? I don't see anybody giving her any problems unless she comes to UFC. That's in the PFL, right? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know enough about the people in the PFL, but Kayla Harrison's a gold medalist, right, in judo, so, or at least a medalist. And so, in especially in women's MMA, if she's like pretty current as well, it's very hard, man, because there just isn't the depth in the divisions. Jones is laying now a bit of a beating on Saeed. He's going to look for the mount. He's got the mount. And Saeed's jiu-jitsu off his back is not very developed, it seems. Jones is landing some good ground and pound. Not hard, but it's good. Trust me, at this stage of the fight, just landing some shots like this hurts. That's the bell. Definitely Jones' round, in my opinion. In my opinion. He looked like he was in a bit of trouble, but I think Said may have punched himself out as well. Moist Penguin says, so Australia and New Zealand are locking down literally every time a single case of COVID is reported. They're going to be locking down every single year then. Absolute madness. Um, I don't want to get into it too much, but I think a big problem is because the vaccination here is not, it hasn't been rolled out to like a level where the hospital system can deal with thousands of cases a day. So that's why the lockdowns are occurring at the same time as the vaccinations are being rolled out. That's what I think is happening. Nicholas Bright says this coach student thing seems pretty prevalent in MMA, not implying anything untoward happened, but isn't Pat Barry like 13 years older than Namajunas? He is, but at the same time, like I'm 8 years older than my wife, but I didn't get together with her when I was 20 and she was 12. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. I don't. If that had happened, then yeah, lock me up. Fuck. But if it's a situation where like that I don't see that as being bad. It is a problem, of course, if you can if that happens when the person's 14, 15, 16. Yeah, I don't agree with that. Um, but yeah, that's I don't think it's any more prevalent in MMA than any other sport. I think probably less in MMA because it just isn't the numbers of women in MMA. I think like swimming, gymnastics, all of that. Man, gymnastics had a big documentary done on it just now. I think we probably have a round apiece at this stage, possibly. I don't know. I don't know if that. I don't know how they scored that round. I thought Saeed was beating him up a little bit, and then Jones came out and looked like he came close to finishing. I don't know how they scored it. Right? I don't know. I don't know how they scored it. Um, Goes looking for a double leg. Does Jones? He's in pretty deep. Saeed has really good takedown defense though. He's a good wrestler, like wrestle kind of judoka kind of thing, but he seems a little fatigued now because the thing is, man, he did give Jones a bit of a hiding throughout the fight a couple of times, but Jones proved to be extremely tough, extremely durable, and survived it. And now he's wearing on Saeed a lot. Saeed's looking for throws, he's looking for counters, but he's struggling a little bit. It's good takedown defense at this stage. Goes looking for a switch. Marshall Smarter says, tap my MMA coach Thursday. I was the checkmate kind. It felt odd, gentle, and super controlled. That was a unique one. Marshall Smarter says, not proud, sort of conflicted. It is what it is. Moist Penguin says, tap my dog last night. Bestiality game improving big time. Thank you for that. Kenu says, thanks, coach. Marshall Smarter says, since you're already a Moist Penguin, it's just a beast on beast. Um, Marshall Smarter says, freaking Eastern Europeans and Russians always have that foolish judo, sambo, Greco-Roman balance. Yeah, the other thing is like a lot of those countries, like Georgia, Russia, Azerbaijan, like Central Asia, Eastern Europe, that whole region, Armenia, Turkey. Not only is wrestling big sport for them, Jones looking for a double leg as well, but a lot of those countries, if not all of those countries, all have Mongolia as well, all have different variations of cultural wrestling. So cultural wrestling is a big one in all of those countries that I mentioned. So all the kids end up play wrestling all the time. I've got a friend, a Mongolian friend, who's a very good judoka as well. But he's an actual sumo guy. That's his main thing. He lived in Japan, did really well, wrestled in the ranks in sumo, and that big Mongolian dude. But he grew up in Mongolia, and he's like, when you see him wrestle, like he can wrestle, but that was just a thing that the kids did. Like, they here in Australia, most boys, especially on the eastern coast, um, looking for this guillotine is Saeed. This front guillotine looks to be on. The guillotine looks to be in pretty tight, but he's not gonna. I don't think he's gonna get him like this. Jones seems to know which way is out. No, now it's on. Now it's closed. The figure four is closed now. The figure four is closed. Jones is in a lot of trouble. That's it. Saeed has put him out asleep. He closed that figure four. Super impressed with that. Super impressed. The thing that I loved about this fight was the momentum shifts that occurred throughout the fight. It was really interesting, man. You don't really see the momentum shift in a fight that many times. There was a couple of times in that fight where I was like, "No, this guy's done." Either guy, and both guys just kept upping the ante. Really impressed with that. It shows a lot of heart, a lot of character, a lot of durability, a lot of experience. Not a lot of people can understand what that means, like to change the momentum over and over in a fight, like, and to be able to deal with that, because everyone's good when they're winning, but when they're losing, it's completely different. And these guys, very impressive. Yeah. So the thing I was saying with the cultural wrestling, yeah. So the dudes grow up doing that, like it's just like here on the eastern border of Australia, most boys or even girls have all played some version of rugby league, or rugby union. They like the concept of playing touch football or Oztag or any of those sports. Like everyone can pass a football. Um, you kind of understand the rules. Everyone's played it at some point. You played it at lunchtime. You played it whatever, and it's like that. Like the kids in some of these Mongolian schools and that, and probably in Russia and Turkey. I don't know, but my Mongolian mate, I do know. Yeah, a lot of them would just wrestle at lunchtime. Like it was like we're playing tips. Even kids here in Australia, where you wrestle, but these guys can actually wrestle. So it's just an interesting thing. I think there's a particular style that is bred from that when you've been doing it your whole life since you're a little kid, and it's almost as you know just as natural as breathing, I suppose. Marshall Smarter says, I'm on the quest to meet Marcelo in the halls of Technical King. I hope you do, my friend. Kenahuna says, thanks, coach. I'm going to keep pushing through and roll with people better to elevate myself. Thank you, my brother. Thank you very much, man. But honestly, all I'm going to say to you is enjoy it. Go there for the thrill and excitement of grappling, of being on the mats, you know, for the fun of it, because you love that. You love being on the mats, start to love getting your ass kicked, and you're going to get better. Um, don't do it for the results thereof. Don't do it for high belt. Don't do it for you to be able to tap guys. Just do it because you love it. Do it because you love the challenge of getting your ass beat, and then when that happens, you start looking around the gym for that guy that you hate grappling because he beats you up, and then that becomes a like you enjoy that. I'm not talking about enjoying getting beat up per se. I'm talking about enjoying the challenge of telling yourself, I'm gonna get beat up, but I'm gonna still go and do this regardless. Because that takes balls, man. Tapping people you can tap, that's nothing. That's anyone can do that. You know what I mean? Anyone can do that. It's rolling when you're gonna get your ass beat, you know what I mean? And you're gonna get your ass beat, and you go, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna get my ass beat. That's gonna be cool. Now, we're all different ages, different things. I'm not there anymore. That's not what I want to do. I don't want to go and roll like that anymore. I don't. I got to get 2 knee replacements in my for both my knees. I I'm 41 years old. I'm not interested in doing that shit anymore. I like to get on the mats, have a roll with some of the guys I've known for years and years that I can trust, and they're not going to hurt me. That's where I'm at. I can't move like I used to. I can't bend my knees. So a lot of stuff I can't do. So I'm not going to sit there going, "Oh, don't roll with me hard," blah blah blah, to people that don't know me. It's just off-putting. But if you're a young guy coming up, that's, I think, a good way to be. Good on you, Ken. Yes, sir. And Marshall Smartest out of nowhere, swinging bombs like vintage Gomi, says, "This is the way." Thank you, sir. I truly appreciate it. It is the way. I appreciate it very much. Thank you so much, my friend. Dr. Crocodile says, "Come on over to Food Fight Live. It's way better." Thank you, mate. Thank you for doing that. TY says, "Do you ever feel a bit gay and let a bunch of guys run a train on you?" Nah, I don't. Uh, Oliver Ekman says, "Fab's drinking the oil again." Um, Marshall Smarter says, "MMA half guard game is on average shit." It is. There's a lot of MMA guys. Again, they're very very tough guys, very athletic guys, very very good at fighting. But a lot of them get through without having really done the time. They haven't spent the time doing what they're meant to be doing. And it's not a reflection of their coaches, and not a reflection of going to a better team. And blah, blah, blah. Like a lot of these guys just haven't done those fundamentals. And some of them don't. Some of them don't. The Outcast Fab, do you think John Jones will ever fight in the UFC again? I was watching clips of his rivalry with DC today, and I hate that he's missing this part of his career because of contract negotiations. I don't know. I don't even know what he wants exactly. Do you know what I mean? Like not like, oh, this is what they said. I don't know like what he wants. I'm not him. So like, and I'm not saying that to be a smartass. I mean, like, I don't I don't know like if he's saying, well, no, I've fought this amount of times and I've won this amount of fights and these many titles and I'm getting paid this much. And no, I'm not gonna fight. I'd rather not fight. It isn't worth it for me to fight. Like from a percentage of what I'm worth. It isn't worth me fighting anymore. Like who knows how much money he can bring in for himself just being John Jones at the moment. Um so I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know what he's really asking for as well. Everyone's going to play it to their advantages. So I don't know. Um, TJC says strength isn't the only thing that matters in BJJ, but it does matter. You know how I know? Look at Gordon Ryan. Yeah, look at Andre Galval. Look at Paul Harris. Look at Craig Jones. Craig Jones is not a little guy, man. Any of those guys, they're not. It's like the same thing. But every sport will tell you that. Every sport will say, "Hey, no, 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 wrestling is not all about strength." No, of course it's not all about strength. Of course not. But have a look at Gable Stevenson. Have a look at him. Does he not look strong to you? Like how the fuck do you not make that thing? Like well, people say, well, in judo, have a look at Hector Lombard. Does Hector Lombard not look strong to you? Like you got to be strong. It's a physical thing you're trying to do to another grown fucking man, or woman. That's not letting you do it at 120 billion%. You got to be strong. But of course, if you're not strong, if you don't have any technique, you can be as strong as you want. A guy that's got half your strength will do you. Um, Marshall Smartest says Gordon, whatever his personality, is more technical than most people can comprehend, or Cyborg would have won. No, no. Having said that, yeah, you're 100% right. Gordon Ryan, Galval, all those guys, man, they different level of technique. They're strong, but if you grapple them, their strength wouldn't come into it. They wouldn't like they would tap you like a typewriter. It wouldn't. It doesn't. That it wouldn't even matter. But when they grapple each other, if one of if when they grapple each other, like Bushesha, Gordon Ryan, Andre Galval, thing, if they grapple each other and you're not strong, it you're out of there. Gordon Ryan is supremely technical, but he's not just technical; he's tactical as well, and that's a big difference. A lot of people are very technical. He might not be the most technical, but he's very tactical. He knows when to apply his techniques and how to apply his techniques. It's not just having all of these techniques; it's knowing how to go and what systematic approach to attack. And he's very good, man. And it's his time. Um, Marshall Smarter says, "Don't Mongolians do shirtless wrestling plus the belt? I did Mongolian wrestling one, not judo night with a couple of BJJ judo crossover guys. Just Randori, but it was fun. Super primal. Yeah, that's what they do. That is what they do, man. And my mate is good at it. And he's a big, strong guy. Must be like picture a big Mongolian guy, like maybe 130 kilos, like that. And he was a gun sumo, like high level sumo guy. Lived in Japan for 15 years or something. Um, not not fun to muck around with that guy. Um, 808 says, always love what you do. Aloha, Uncle Fab. Aloha, my friend. Kanahuna says, I love fighting. Only thing that keeps me sane. Losing to kids, mums, dads, bods. It's a fun learning experience for me. I'll be back, people. Chris K says, oh, thank you very much, man. Hope your business can get through the constant lockdowns in Australia. You can always start an OnlyFans if times get too tough. I'd sign up day one. Thank you, my brother. Thank you very much, man. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. We'll see how we go. The other thing is, even if you want to, like, yeah, man, it's just funny. Thanks, man. I really appreciate. Really appreciate your support, my friend. Moist Penguin says the extra time off is allowing John Jones to grow into his weight class. Put on that extra weight while working on keeping his speed and cardio. Definitely, that works to his advantage for sure. Marshall Smartest says, Ni fa, wherever you are. I believe that the heart does go on. Once more, you open the door and you're in my heart, and my heart will go on and on. Thank you very much, Marshall Smartest, for that. I really appreciate it. That was very heartfelt, and I kind of feel where you're coming from, my friend. Thank you. It's tough times for everybody. Chris Chris Corres says, thank you for taking your time to do these. Thank you, my friend, because I love doing them. I enjoy doing it, and my wife hates me. So, it's this or cleaning the bins. So I really, really appreciate it. Thank you very much, guys. I can't talk too loud because she's out there, and if she hears me, she's gonna give me small stuff to do. Alka says, Fab, Turkish oil wrestling on OnlyFans would do more pay-per-views than Woodley versus Jake Paul. I won the Australian Turkish oil wrestling championships in 2003. There you go. Don't tell anyone that shit. That's true though. That is 100% true. Oliver Ekman said, Fab's off to take care of business. His neighbor has been chatting shit about his auntie. I had to drop that fool. I had to drop him. We're about to start, people, these heavyweights. These are big boys, man. These are the people that if I win the lotto, I just pay them some money to just follow me around. They don't even have to be massively good. They're just big guys that can throw a few good punches. Sherman in the red. Porter throws a massive kick. Porter kind of looks like what Anthony Soprano would have looked like if he did MMA. That's how I see it, which is nothing against Porter. Porter kind of sits well on his punches. Don't like when he throws that kick, but he throws them pretty hard. Don't throw the kicks though. His feet aren't in the right position to kind of throw that kick. Sherman's doing a good job of sliding out of the way, but Porter looks like he'd hit hard, man. If he hits you, he'd hit hard. Look at the size of the legs on Porter. Porter, man, Porter looks like he hits you. You're going to stay hit. Oh, he hits Sherman with a little left hook, but I think Sherman got him with a little jab as well on the way in. Nice leg kick by Sherman. Porter looks like a scary man, dude. Like just a scary dude. Sherman landing some good combinations as Porter's coming in. Sherman's tidy with his hands. I've seen him fight a few times now. He's quite tidy. And he's throwing that leg kick behind it behind his combinations to those legs of Porter's. Porter's got huge legs, but he's kind of makes it hard because when he goes to angle his left foot out, so left foot, like imagine you're angling your left foot like to 10 o'clock kind of thing, so that he can get the angle on his hips to throw that leg kick. He can't really do it fast enough. And so he doesn't get the angle that he needs for the proper angle that he needs to really get the power from his kicks. He must chafe so bad, this dude. He must chafe real bad, Porter. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm like a skinny guy, but I've got a big bum and big thighs, but my legs are real skinny. Like my forearms are skinny and everything, but I've got a big bum and I chafe bad, like real bad. And this guy's legs are like my torso, each leg. So bigger than my torso for sure. So he must chafe horrendously. Front kick down the middle by Sherman and caught by Porter. Porter takes him down. This is going to be interesting. Now Porter is passing to the half guard. He's looking to get. He's got the underhook. He's doing a great job of pinning him down. Here, someone like Porter would be awful. He would feel like he weighs 800 kilos, dude. And he's looking for that key lock, is Porter, and he went for it aggressively right off the bat. He looks like he's so strong though in these kind of positions. I don't know how he'd fare off his back. He doesn't have that build for being off his back. But in these positions like this, he would feel like he weighs 1,000 kilos. It'd be awful. Just the way that his weight is distributed, like it's all through his bum, all through his torso, and all through his upper legs. It's just he's just really thick and heavy like that. He's framing quite well with his elbow. Now he's right on the throat of Sherman. This would be ridiculously uncomfortable, man. I cannot stress to you enough how uncomfortable this would be. These elbows landing is 43 seconds. Little hammer fists, just making it uncomfortable, making him work, landing some nice shots there by Porter. He knows what he's doing too. Like he knows he's not letting Sherman be able to post with that right arm either. And he's keeping him up against the cage the way that he is, like parallel to the cage like that, without letting him post on that left arm. He's very, very smart. That's what's going to stop him from getting up. And he keeps the half guard like a Turk ride in wrestling. So it's basically effectively a pin. So he did a very, very good job. And it can't have felt good to have that monster on top of you. Sherman feels that he won that round. I don't know that he did. I don't know that he did, but it was Parker Porter is such a cool name too. He is a big boy, man. He played lacrosse and football and baseball in his youth. After high school, Porter began working out to lose weight, eventually dabbling in mixed martial arts for training variation at the age of 21. And he is now 35 or 36, I think. He's a big boy, man. It says here reportedly that Chase Sherman is a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. Let's see what happens. He's a big boy, man. The thing is as well, like I always think of people like who were you before MMA or whatever. This guy would have been playing football. It would have been such a big dude. Because he's such a big guy right now, and he had to do this to lose weight. And he would have been humongous, and he would have hit people so hard in football. But but Sherman's doing a good job too. If he can keep the fight on his feet, I think Sherman can start to find holes to land shots on Porter. But on the ground, man, Porter really gave it to him on the ground when he put him on his back. And that would have worn you out. That would have worn you out quite a bit. Whoa, he's starting to land shots on Sherman. One thing I will say though, I think that people that have had to lose weight and have had to hit cardio, and people don't know, man, how like what that takes. And like this guy would have spent a lot of time doing cardio, like in his life, like a lot, trying to get that weight down. Nice little check hook there by Sherman. Oliver Ekman says, my first year of wrestling, we had three heavyweights. Me, 280 pounds at that time. How old were you, Oliver Ekman, when you weighed 280 pounds? And two others. One was 320, but not all fat, big farm kid. The other was 320 pounds, but fat. During get up drills, I could get up to like alignment stance with a fat 320-pound kid, but not with a farm kid. How old were you, dude, to have people that big? Because, man, I grew up with heaps of Polynesian kids, man, and they were fucking massive. There were so many big kids, man. Nice. Both guys exchanging now. Elaine Telnetti says, who do you think wins this fight? I don't know who wins this fight like this. This Porter dude is starting to look like he hurts Sean as well a fair bit. Sherman rolls with the punches and he takes some of the punches. He has to stop Porter from getting on top of him. I don't know. I don't know who wins this fight. Kelvin or Gastelum? I don't know. I think Gastelum could be a little bit quicker. I don't know if that's going to be enough. I don't know if he has a diversity of strikes to keep Cannonier off him, and I don't know if Cannonier is going to when his age is going to show. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, that's my take on that one. Sherman defended that single leg really well. This is what a scrap. And what a chin on Sherman too. Because Porter doesn't look like he doesn't hit hard. And your other one, my thoughts on the lockdowns. I don't want to get into it too much. Like, I don't want to get into it too much. Like I said, for me, I can tell you my experience during the lockdown, but I don't want this show to become a show about pro-vaccine, anti-vaccine, pro-lockdowns, anti-lockdowns. My experience during the lockdown is hard. It's hard financially, business-wise, and whatnot. It's hard from the fact that I can't see my parents. I live in a very nice, beautiful spot of the world, so it's not the worst place in the world to be locked down. Um, I, there is government assistance, which I'm very thankful for. It doesn't compensate me from a business perspective, but I am very thankful to receive it. It coincides really well with the fact that the last 2 years, basically, we've been in lockdown on and off. And so I haven't been able to work. I've lost a ton of fucking money. I've been doing like work here and there, but not anything with rhythm. But at the same time, I've been able to spend those 2 years with my daughter, which are priceless. And honestly, if you'd have said to me, pay that amount of money and spend 2 years with your daughter, I would have paid it anyway. So I'm absolutely thankful for that. I've got my second daughter on the way now in December. Yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I don't want to go into the whole thing because that's going to become a debate for a different time. These guys are cracking each other, man. And that's the second round gone. Elaine Tanetti says, would be cool if you had some title on screen for the fight you're currently watching. Then you can change it each time the next fight comes on. I'm going to look into that, Elaine. I really appreciate that. I will. What I do after the fights, I put up the timestamps, but I'm going to look into doing that. I can't promise you because I'm not very good at that stuff. Kenahuna says Kelvin is a beast who got a few bad breaks. His war with Izzy still up there for great fights within the recent era. Agreed with all of that. Joseph says, for someone who lost 80 pounds in 9 months, I can feel for Porter. Cardio sucks. Laugh out loud. Man, if you lost 80 pounds in 9 months, I salute you, my friend. I have never really had a weight problem, but now during the lockdown and like my wife's pregnant, and last time with the other baby, I looked pregnant. She really didn't look pregnant, and the same thing started happening again. So I said to my wife, "All right, I'm off sugars. I'm not going to touch sugars," and I haven't touched sugars for about 3 weeks, and I noticed that there was a massive change in my body. But yesterday, my wife ate a whole tub of ice cream like this next to me, and she doesn't buy like cheap ice cream. She buys like nice ice cream. And not that it matters because I'm like a junkie. I would shoot that ice cream up regardless of whether it was good or bad or whatever. Man, Porter is coming on strong. They're exchanging in there. He gets a single leg. Is he going to get if he gets a takedown here, Chase is going to be in all sorts of trouble. Wasn't able to. Sherman was able to keep that the fight standing. I have full respect. That's what I was saying with someone like Porter. The amount of cardio that this dude would have had to do in his life, the amount of kilometers this guy would have done. Like his cardio is on point. If he continues on this trajectory and loses even more weight or more body fat through the cardio and whatnot, man, I'm not saying he's going to be the world champion or anything, but I am saying to you, like, I'm so impressed with him. I'm impressed with Sherman too, but my heart goes on for Porter. Let me say that. What was I saying about? What was I talking about before? Oh yeah, and the sugar. I was watching my wife eat that, and I went through various stages. I had to really, really fight not taking that thing off her and eating it, man. Like I really thought about fighting with her and taking it off her, because it would have been a fight. She wouldn't have let me take the ice cream off her and me have it. Good right hand landed by Porter on Sherman. Um, yeah, I definitely wanted to have that ice cream, man. Like it yells to me. And before, back in the day when I was like in my early 20s, I used to compete in triathlons and grapple all the time, all day. I was like I would have probably, if I'd grown up today, in high school and that, I would be diagnosed with ADD because like I was always like doing something, always, 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 always. And I could eat whatever I wanted, and I was lean. I was lean and strong and blah blah blah. But I could eat whatever I wanted. It wouldn't matter. And I would do 20, 30K runs. I would do them. And I'd do them like honestly knew. Okay, I ate 2 large pizzas for dinner last night. I'm gonna run the next day. I'm gonna run 20Ks to even this out. I can't do that anymore. I can't do that. I wouldn't want to do that. But yeah, Seth Dunn says, "Oh, Seth Dunn, maybe you shouldn't be here, man." Um, yeah, so that's a situation for me. So I think this Porter dude, man, is I have massive respect for people that have to lose weight like that. How many fights to go, Kefe? We have about um 2 more. Clay Guida's fight and then the main event. Kane says, if you don't mind, how old are you and how old is your youngest? I ask because I'm 37 and think of having a kid, but I feel I'm too old. We'll get right back to you, Kane. There's a minute and 31 seconds to go in this fight. Good exchanges here. Oh, nice rip to the liver by Porter. Man, Sherman looks like he's spent, completely spent. I think that was a low shot by Porter. Um, man, I'm 41 and I'm almost 41 and a half. My oldest is oh fuck, he got push kicked right in the right in the balls. Like he landed that the size of that leg and foot landed flush on the cup of Sherman. Yeah, I'm 41. So I had my first kid at 39 or something like that. Um and honestly, it wouldn't have been good for me to have kids early. I was doing different things in my life. I wouldn't have been able to do the right. Like I wasn't in the right place. Not I wasn't mature enough or anything. I just wasn't in the right place. Like now is the right time. It was the right time for me to have kids. From various aspects, financially, etc. Da da da. It was the right time. Um, I was able to put some things together to be able to be in a bit of a better situation to have kids. But I think also the thing that mattered the most for me was my partner. When things worked out that we got together when we did, um, that made things a lot easier to you don't want to just have kids with the wrong person. So 37 years old is not too old, man, not by any stretch of the imagination. 1 minute to go. Porter keeps coming forward. Oh, nice right hand left hook by Porter. Oh, they're exchanging pretty hard. Sherman lands a combination there. Porter goes to the body. Oh, nice left hook over the top by Sherman. I mean by Porter. And these guys are massive dudes too. I'm super impressed by Porter. I'm not saying he's going to be a world beater, but I'm very, very impressed by him. Very impressed. And his ability to just keep coming forward, mate. What a fight. What a fight. I got Porter winning that fight. Yes, I don't think you're too old. Oliver Ekman says definitely not too old. How many fights to go? Hefe, I answered that one. Um, Morku says my parents had me at 42. There you go. Nicholas says it's not too late. We had our first when my partner was 37. Elaine says, cheers, man. We appreciate your commentary. Thank you, my friend. Oliver says, at Joseph, that's inspiring. I'm currently 270 at 5'8", super obese. I got down to 260, but gained after graduation. Oliver, just keep training, man. Keep wrestling. Keep doing your grappling. Just keep training. Honestly, it's hard, man. Like to give up. If it's not hard to give up something you don't like, you know what I mean? It's not hard. For me, though, I love sweets. So it's hard, man. It's super fucking hard to give it up. You know, it's super hard. And I just gave it up because it's one in all in for me. And I'm not doing that level of cardio anymore. And I'll still do cardio, I still work out 5, 6 times a week. But, as you get older, your body doesn't react the same. So I had to just stop with the sugar. It's hard, dude. It's really, really hard. Marshall Smarter says, have children, the world loves you, and it needs good kids, mate. That is super true. There are morons out there having children, man. We have to outbreed them. If not, we're going to end up like Idiocracy. If you haven't watched that film, watch Idiocracy. We do not want to end up like that. Porter won. Good, good, good. Well done. I agree with that. Um, Elaine says, cheers, bro. Love your commentary. This is for all the times I used your lives to hear the fight instead of paying pay-per-view. Man, thank you, brother. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you. I really appreciate it. You don't know what that means to me. So thank you very much. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you. Thank you for all your support. Watch it as much as you like. Support as much as you can. I do apologize, people, if I'm not as sharp as I normally am. I haven't slept in about 3, 4 days properly. I've slept probably, honestly, probably about 8, 9 hours in 3 days. The Pfizer shot murdered me. Murdered me. Joseph says, at Oliver Ekman says, thanks, my man. I hit 260 pounds. Didn't know that was possible. Start of the lockdown, but it's all mental. You got this, bro. It is, man. And that's where like other things I found, like again, I have never really had a significant weight issue like that or anything. But I have struggled with mental health. Like there's no, I'm not gonna think if it helps anyone, great. I have struggled mental health, in particular with anxiety and massive ongoing panic attacks for a couple of years, man. It probably took me probably the intensity, the worst ones was 6 months, and then it extended from there. But doing stuff like mindfulness and a whole bunch of other stuff like meditating, mindfulness, prayer, it doesn't matter, non-denominational, Christian, Jewish, Muslim, that doesn't matter. But all of that stuff helps a lot. Helps a lot in controlling your mind. Helps a lot in you finding strength that you have in your mind, and you have it in reserves, man. You have so much, and I've only like just scraped the top of the barrel. But once you start getting that rhythm and start understanding yourself and start understanding, like, you find gaps in your thinking patterns, you find gaps in, like, say it's your temper, right? People say you got to count to 5 to dissipate the temper, blah blah blah. It's very hard though. If you don't have the processes behind it, when somebody says something wrong to you, you're just going to get angry. But if you start to find those gaps in your mind, like you start to find that space where you can count to 10, or you can count to 5, or before you put something in your mouth, before you eat something that's sugary or fatty or whatever, that might be your vice, before you do that, you're able to stop and go, no, no, I don't need that. And whilst you're having that craving, whilst you're having that, you create enough of a gap that you can go somewhere else, have a glass of water, eat an apple, and go for a run. And that's taken away from that point. And you're better off being smart than being strong. Like you can't sit at home with people that are eating rubbish all around you when you're trying to get off it, and you're hungry, you haven't eaten, and you've got nothing to do. You're probably going to eat shitty food, you know. But it's just finding those things. Of course, people that don't have that problem are going to say, "Well, I don't have that problem. I'm just, I'm just super strong mentally." You're not. You just don't like sweets that much, or you don't like sweets that much. There's heaps of shit that like alcohol and drugs and all of that. I don't. I could sit in a bottle of 24 hours a day and I won't drink. Not because I have a massive amount of willpower. I'm just not interested in it. You put me in a candy factory, we have problems, my friend. We have problems. Elaine Tenetti, the GOAT. Yes, sir. I really, really appreciate it, man. Steve Howe says, did you and Rob have a falling out? Okay, everybody answered it. All good. Marshall Smarter says, imbue me with the power of Grayskull, moderator ability. You know what, Marshall Smartest? I'm going to look into that. I'm not the one that does it. I'm not the one that does that. My wife or David Roberts would have to look into that because they're the ones that do it. But yes, Marshall Smarter says Porter with the nuts to get a side tattoo while losing weight. That's impressive in and of itself. Um, Pip Dennison says, had my grom at 40, my missus was 38. No way, too late. Best thing ever, brother. A grom is a grommet child in surfing talk. Um, I'll tell you something, man. It's the best thing. Fuck off sleeping for a while because you're not going to sleep properly. I have never slept properly ever since my daughter was born. Like I'll sleep sometimes every now and then, and it's mad. But now I'm having a second one. But it is like every day. It's like the best thing in the world. It's like I get up every morning, like like it's Christmas. I pumped to play with a new toy because she changes every single day. And like my daughter was a baby and she's like a little girl now. So it's it's incredible, man. It's an incredible experience, incredible amount of fun, incredible amount of work and more endurance than you think you were capable of, that's for sure. But it's the most rewarding thing by far. Like it's not even. And the thing I always remember is I'm not doing her a favor. She didn't ask to be born. She's doing me a favor by giving my life meaning. More meaning than it had before. So yeah, it's the best. Chris K says, thanks for a little speech about having kids when older. I'm single without kids in my late 30s and agree that sometimes later in life is better. Married or having kids earlier would have been bad. 1000%, dude. Everybody is a busybody. Everyone's got like advice. Oh, you should get married. Like I knew my wife for years, but we never got together. Like we both doing our different things. She was working, doing whatever, and I was doing my thing. Working. I was mainly working. And everywhere I went, people would try and set me up with man, the people would try to set me up with sometimes. I'm thinking like, dude, like not that I think I'm better than someone else, but it's just like, how the fuck do you think we're compatible? Yeah, and people just say whatever. Like people would say stuff to my parents all the time, like, and when I say there's nothing against being gay, man. If you're gay, you're gay. I really don't give a shit. But I'm not gay, and people would come, go say stuff to my mum, like maybe I'm gay and I don't want to have kids or this and that, which I could still adopt a kid if I was gay. That wouldn't have been the problem. So that's not the issue. And there's other things you can do to have kids, anyways. But like people don't give a shit, man. They're just stupid. So, man, when the time's right for you, you'll have a child if you want to have one, and it'll be the best thing ever, and you'll be glad you waited. That's the truth of the matter. If you have kids when you shouldn't have had kids, that's the last thing we need on this planet is more people that are unwanted. Jesus. Kanahuna says, yes, smart people need to have more kids, not be childless. I agree, man. Dude, some of the people I went to school with or that I grew up with, they have like eight or nine, 8 or 9 kids apiece, man, nowadays, like today. And I just think, man, you guys are outbreeding us bad. Like I was in Southwest Sydney. Doesn't matter where I was a few years ago, near where I grew up. And I walked out of a sports store, and this dude comes out. And, "Oh, Fab, how you doing?" And I looked at him, and I thought, "Fuck, I'm gonna get robbed," because it was him. He's only like this guy's only like 2-3 years older than me. I looked at him, and he was there with like a whole probably 4 or 5 other grown ass men, dude. Like all looked like him. They all looked like extras from a Mad Max film. And they're like, "Oh, Fab, how you doing?" Blah 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 blah. And because he said my name, I realized I wasn't going to get robbed. And I looked around. There's 4 or 5 of them, and I was like, and all that the others were talking to me too. So it was like they knew something I didn't know because I don't know these people. Then I looked at him, and they're like, "You don't remember me?" Blah blah blah. And they were all his sons. Like this guy had 5 sons, and this guy must be. I'm 41. He must be 45, and his kids are like 23 or 24, 22, 21, and 18. Something ridiculous like that. Like 9 months apart each kid, and complete savage, dude. This dude, he shouldn't have. He shouldn't be allowed to wander the streets, let alone reproduce. So crazy, man. So crazy. So yeah, no, please, man. If you're not an idiot, please have a child. Kenahuna says, yes, smart people need to have more kids, not be childless. Agreed. Chris K says, Fab, if you catch COVID, make sure to see Dr. Alexis for the best care. I will. Khan says, take ice cream off a pregnant wife story was hilarious. I can totally relate to that. Dude, I was looking at her and I was like thinking about just ripping it, taking it off her and eating it. She had the whole tub too, man. She ate the whole tub and pizzas and all of that. And I got too fat during the pregnancy. The outcast says, dumb people will always outbreed because they use the spray and pray method of birth control. Dude, there was a guy that I went to school with, right? And this is where I first heard the term aquaturd. He had thought it was funny as a gag, ha 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 ha. Did an aquaturd, which is you do a shit in the water, but he did an aquaturd at a swimming carnival. He did an aquaturd in a swimming carnival. You need to understand what that would you would have to entail to do that. This person is a moron, and no offense if you're listening, you know who you are. I didn't say your name. I didn't put you out there, but you know who you are, and you thought it was funny at the time. And he was never embarrassed about it. It was always funny to him all through high school that he did that. But you have to understand this is the kind of people, this is the kind of people I'm talking about, and they will outbreed us. Peter says, greetings from Germany, 6 a.m. here. Dude, thank you for either getting up or staying up. I really appreciate it, my friend. Marshall Smarter says, the world loves you. Remember that. Remember that, people, and thank you, Marshall Smartest. And it's true, and it needs to be remembered. Appreciate that, my friend. Wrestle says prophetic words, and they are. Hanoi Tripper says, loving the mental health advice, Fab, especially now in lockdown. My brother, it's not advice. I'm no one to give advice on mental health. I'm just speaking from my perspective, my experience, and just a little bit of the study that I've done that's helped me to kind of get my head around it a little bit. But yeah, that's all, man. Joseph says, and my number one rule for losing weight is stay away from Tim Tams. Dude, like I treat it like as if I'm an alcoholic. Like one drink is too many and 100 is never enough. So that's how I am with food, I'm like a beagle like that. Like I'll eat myself into a coma. But I've never had a weight problem, So I really understand. I really can empathize with people that are trying to lose weight because I feel the same cravings, but I don't get fat like that. I do get fat. Don't get me wrong. I get fat. I get a belly in that, but I have to eat like a lot. Like the fattest I've ever been, I've been on this podcast. You get what I mean? And so you can't really tell. Like you can tell in my face a little bit in that, but not like I don't get massively obese. Well, I know I've got friends that if they went and ate like I did, they'd be massive. And then I've got other mates that eat worse than me and they're lean. They're lean and muscular. I'm neither one of them. I'm just kind of in the middle, but I have to treat it like that. I can't have one Tim Tam because I will have the whole box. And I know this. So I'm better off being smart than strong and I just stay away from it. My wife is one of those people. My wife had our first baby. My wife had our first baby, and then like 3 weeks later, she was lean. She had abs and that, and I was and I was a fat fuck. I was a fat fuck. It looked like I'd given birth. So yeah, no, stay away from those people, man. Stay away from those people. Make you feel bad about yourself. Kinahuna says, "Love your Insta stories and posts of you and your daughter, Fab. Gives me hope as to what I can do with my future children." Amen. Honestly, I tell you something. It isn't that hard to be a dad. It isn't that hard. Like you're made to do it, so it's not that hard. Like the gap between like a shit dad and a good dad is small. You don't have to do a lot. You just have to want to spend time with your kid. If you want to spend time with your kid, you're going to be a good dad. Like if you genuinely want to spend time with your kid, you're going to be a good dad. One of the things though that I read this somewhere, and I can't remember where I read it, and I 100% think this is true, is kids don't learn kids learn more from who you are than what you say or do. So you can tell your kid something or you can go and do the right things, but who you are in your core, your kids around you all the time or not, worse, and they learn more from who you actually are. So it's not that hard, man. Like you just spend time with them if you genuinely want to. If you don't want to, you shouldn't have kids. That's my guess on that. We're off, people. I'm really curious to see Madsen's wrestling here against Guida's wrestling. Which I mean, Madsen's wrestling's on another level to Guida's, but everything else that comes into it in MMA. Guida is throwing a bunch of leg kicks at him. Guida's an energizer bunny, though. It still is late into his career. Madsen's very composed. Silver medalist in Greco Roman, I believe. Silver medal in Greco Roman is high, high level. Like, yeah, if you're it's very, very, very high as a wrestler. Like Romero was a silver medalist in freestyle. Actually, a kid, I can't remember his surname right now. Just recently, a US kid. I think he won the gold in freestyle in these junior world trials, and then medaled in the Greco-Roman, which is unheard of. That kid's a prodigy. Oh my god! If I didn't have brain damage from not having slept for 3 days, I'd remember his name. Somebody put it out there. You know who it is for sure. You should know Oliver Ekman who it is. So yeah, the level's very, very high as a wrestler, but he has to get his hands on him and be able to start to do. Oh, Guida has dropped him. Guida has dropped him with a nice overhand right. Dropped him momentarily, but Madsen has tied him up with a 2-on-1, and he's got in the firearm as well. That 2-on-1 is very, very good. The way that he was able to wrap that up. Now he hit Guida with a little cheeky left hook, but Guida got him with that right hand. Madsen has to not screw around and tie him up. Tie him up in the Greco clinch and start to work from there. Because Guida's moving laterally quite well and throwing those punches as soon as he gets the angle. Oh, nice little jab landed. Here's something that I'm going to tell you is when a Greco guy gets you like this in the clinch, it doesn't look different to the way other people clinch, but he would feel ridiculously horrible in that clinch. It's different. The way when Greco guys grab you in a clinch, it's bad. They have such control and such strength in those positions. This Madsen guy would be stupid strong. Like he'd be stupid strong in that clinch. That doesn't mean that he can't get out wrestled, etc., etc. So he's clinched up against with Guida. Guida's doing a good job of breaking out of that clinch, but Madsen's also getting off on him as well, getting good shots off on him. And what I was going to say to you is those clinches are easy for Madsen. And clinches are not fun. Pummeling and that is not fun. It will tire you out. But for someone like Madsen, that's not it's not hard. The clinching is a place where he would be relatively comfortable compared to a Guida or someone else like that. So the more he can get that fight in the clinch and make him work, the better it is for him. Now, Greco, for those that don't know, Greco's the waist up. They don't use their legs to get takedowns. So he's that's not saying he can't shoot because there are level changes where they do shoot. Nice outside leg kick landed by Madsen. There are level changes where they do shoot and they grab around the hips. Madsen's stalking Guida down, but Guida's probably got the best of the exchanges in this fight thus far. He punches his way out of the clinches, which is smart for Guida, because once you start pummeling with someone like Madsen, it's no good. Guida throwing combinations over the top, throws a left hook, taken on the gloves by Madsen. Madsen's also doing a good job of trying to cut off the angles here of the octagon so that he can nice. He gets a nice clinch here by Madsen. Just that arm on the collar, you can see how much that's making Guida work. And this 2-1 that he does, nice work. When they grab you like that in that one-handed clinch, Greco guys, it's granted Guida grew up wrestling, so it's not completely foreign to him. But if you haven't wrestled and someone like Madsen grabbed you like that, just like this, one hand around the neck, it feels completely different to anything else you felt. Sorry, guys, I'm skipping a few people. Marshall Smarter says, I once saw a guy shit off the rafters in front of a barn full of people. But hey, something creates the tails on the bell curve. Man, I'm going to use that one, Marshall Smartest, because there are things that create the tails on the bell curve for sure. He was definitely not the fastest sperm, that guy. Jesus. Oh my God. Yes, the omelette game is a Grange TV classic. Tim Tams are like crack, John Hyun Ko. Hey, John Hyun Ko, I'm going to give you a shout out, man. This guy has a podcast, man. Listen to his podcast whenever you can. He does great interviews, gets way better guests than me on. I can tell you that for sure. But he gets great guests. And I think you do like a and two podcasts. Hey, you do your podcast and you do another one where you host for like what is it, the Chinese sports magazine or something. If that's you, please write in the comments because I'm pretty sure it is you. It is because you said so before. And big exchanges here by both guys. Guida showing the level change. He's looking for that overhand right so bad. Guida's looking for the level. He's looking level change and throw the overhand right. Oh, nice calf kick by Guida. And then a calf kick answered by Madsen straight away. Madsen pouring with the jab. Guida's looking for his level changes to come in. Madsen lands a nice little cheeky right hand. Madsen holding the center of the octagon. Both guys in the orthodox stance. Nice calf kick landed by Guida. Oh, he hit Madsen with a combination of punches and a nice short, sharp little uppercut. Nice inside leg kick by Guida. Outside leg kick landed by Madsen. Guida goes swinging for the fences with an overhand right. Nice. He catches in the clinch now, does Madsen. Madsen throws another knee in the middle and another knee to the body of Guida. And Guida manages to get off the cage. Madsen's doing a good job of actually landing damage as well, though, when he does clinch. He's not just holding on and looking for a takedown, holding on for dear life. Like, he's clinching, and if you keep him there, and if you can't get him into a position that he wants, he does damage. It's very, very smart. A lot of these wrestlers at this level will come in and they'll be trying to wrestle, or the jiu-jitsu guys or judo guys will come in and try and grapple, at all costs. Whereas Madsen, he tries to grapple, and then when he can't, he makes sure he gets damage when he wins those small exchanges, which is very good. Great work from him. He caught Guida there with a short, sharp little punch. Another nice little jab by Madsen. Guida went to come in, and Madsen caught him with a nice little jab. Almost fell asleep then, just in the middle of my sentence. Madsen's doing a really, really good job here. This second round, I think, is to me is Madsen's. I don't know the first round because Clay landed some couple of really good shots. I don't know how the judges scored that fight, that round. It could be a round apiece. More than likely, they're both to Madsen, I think. But I don't know. I don't know how the judges scored it, and I'm not scoring the fight. I'm just commentating and talking to you guys at the same time. Nice calf kick landed by Guida as well. But Madsen's definitely holding the center of the octagon. He's the one that's leading the dance. He's the one that's coming forward, and he is landing shots himself. Landing a lot of nice little jabs. He's landing these good little jabs on Guida, like really nice little sharp, short little jabs. Guida lands another calf kick. You can see a bit of a welt starting to develop on the leg of Madsen, on the calf, on the interior lateral portion of the calf. Nice inside calf kick landed by Guida. There's 8 seconds to go in this round. And that's the round, people. Khan says, Coach, who's my favorite MMA trainer between Firas, Javier Mendez, Eugene, and Trevor Whitman, and why? I don't know. I don't really have a favorite between any of them. Um, I think they've all got their. I think they've all got their strengths. I think they've all got their strengths. They've all got their strengths that they play in favor of, and I think that's. I think they're all great coaches, but I don't really have a favorite out of them, like at all. There's some other coaches that like I would tend to like. I like. I don't know. I don't know if likes a word. I don't know. But I don't have a favorite out of those guys. I think they're all great coaches, and I think like anyone that goes to any of those coaches would do really, really well. I don't provided coaching, and that is more like you got to click with the person. If you click with either any four of those guys, you're going to do really, really well. Like it. I don't think there's like a favoritism there out of any of them. I think they're all really, really good, and they've got a proven track record. Um, and I think it's more about clicking. If you get the right guy that clicks with that particular coach, then you're going to have really, really good things come out of that situation. Yeah, the scar tissue on Clay Guida is pretty hardcore. He's got like a protruding uh, eyebrow line here, like kind of like Neanderthal or something. Chris K says, "Afab, preach about modeling behavior. Live your life in a good way, and your kids will pick up on it." I would hope so, man. I would hope so. Ken Ahuna says, "Time to say awful things to my kids and only show love." I love it. No, it wasn't at the Olympics. It was at World Juniors, Oliver Ekman. I'll look him up after this fight. I'm just interested in how this fight's going to go down the line here. With Madsen still holding the center. But Madsen's starting to land that jab over and over. Guida's landing the calf kicks and that, but Madsen's found his range really well with the jab, and he just keeps peppering him with it, peppering him and peppering him with it. And it's a good punch to throw with someone like Guida, who's just, you know, bobbing and moving all the time. You can just throw that jab out there. It doesn't require you to like load up a lot. Really, really nice work by Madsen. Like he leans on his wrestling enough. He knows it's there, but he's not overly reliant on it, and he's not wrestle or bust, which is very, very smart. And people might look at it and go like, he wasn't able to take Guida down, but he's winning the boxing exchanges now, especially later in the rounds. And Guida has not even come close to even attempting a proper takedown on Madsen. So it's worked. He's done a really good job of it. Nice calf kick by Guida, and then a calf kick of his own by Madsen. Madsen does a good thing there where if he gets kicked, he answers the kick. And not a nice. See that clinch? There he threw that knee in the clinch. I don't think it landed, but still it's dangerous. He's not a Greco guy that's just trying to clinch with you and hold on. He does damage to you in the clinch as soon as he gets here. He throws that knee in the clinch as soon as he can. Really good work by Madsen. 1 minute and 39 seconds to go. Nice little front kick down the middle. The front kick's probably more effective from a southpaw stance, southpaw to orthodox, instead of orthodox to orthodox, but still, it was a good little front kick. Yes, Guida still has the bouncing head movement. It's not as full on as he was before. Just when he was younger, it was more of a bouncing head movement. But yeah, he's still got it, still there. Madsen's doing a fantastic job though, keeping him on the end of the jab now. He's doing a really, really good job. And he's doing, the other thing is he's not just throwing the jab, like he's just touching him with the jab, touching him, touching him, touching him. Oh, big exchanges, 33 seconds to go. Great job by Madsen. Nice work. 11 seconds to go. I think Madsen wins this fight now. He's really found the home for the jab, and he's landing it almost at will. That was really, really good. Really, really, really good. I was impressed by Madsen. Madsen's 36 years old as well. He's no spring chicken. Let me find this kid. He's got, I can't remember the. Trying to find the. The kid's name. I can't find it. Anyways, he'll be one to watch out for. Oliver Ekman, you asked me if there's going to be a fight companion. I mean, this one, yes. Joe Schmo says, Fab, what do you think Guida is crossed with? He looks like the missing link, with all due respect to him. John Hyun Ko says, always appreciate the support. I'll watch from time to time. Much respect, coach. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Marshall Smarter says, nasty punches off that collar tie now. Yes, sir. 100%. He's doing a lot of damage in that clinch. Sorry, guys, I'm skipping a few. Yeah, Madsen won that one. Nicholas Bright says, all respect to Clay Guida in his career, but I find all his fights really frustrating to watch. All this bouncing makes me zone out. Marshall Smarter says, Guida, the missing link. Ha ha ha. Homoin between us. Um, you're a horrible, horrible man, Marshall Smartest. I'll be back in a second. All you people. Leighton says, this guy, Marcus says, this guy left. What a crappy play by play. Sorry, buddy. I went to get water for myself and some hydrolyte. Leighton J says, Gillespie versus Madsen. What do you think, Fab? I don't see Madsen being Gillespie. I see just I see Gillespie just being as a fighter, just being able to implement his skill set a little better. And as a wrestler, as a grappler, he'd be able to implement a little bit better. I think as a grappler overall, it's a different kind of. He'd probably be able to get Madsen down to the ground. Madsen being more of a Greco guy, be harder for him to defend the legs. I'm not saying that he can't defend the legs. I'm not saying that he doesn't wrestle or defend legs in training, but it's different. Gillespie's that's his specialty. That kind of wrestling. I see Gillespie beating him. Was the snapper good, Cannonier? Yes, it was. Yes, it was. It was. I had it with pesto sauce. My wife made the pesto from scratch. We had some pasta. We shallow fried the snapper fillet in butter. And actually, I can say that I cooked this. It was actually me that cooked it. And then we shallow fried that in some butter, and then I put it all in the thing. Made the nice sauce, and we had that with pasta. So it was really good. Um, so here's where it's. But he, no disrespect to him, but he does look like that a little bit. He does look like a savage, a caveman. Cannonier's a monster of a man, isn't he? He's a monster of a man. It's going to be an interesting fight. This one, I think, in that first round, Gastelum can be very dangerous. I don't know that he has the diversity of strikes. I don't know. Gastelum looks like somebody said something to him and he's walking out to sort it out. Met this guy in real life a bunch of times. I was there when we filmed the Ultimate Fighter. And he was there, obviously. And he's like a heavyweight, but somebody cut off the elbows and knees. Like he's like a heavyweight's torso, but his arms and legs are short and they're not big, but his torso is big. His head's huge. Um, the coach with the hat backwards, really nice guy. Rafael Cordero, really nice guy. Very good coaches, man. Rafael Cordero, there's another great coach. And again, like I said, I don't think it matters. Like you can't have a terrible coach, but it's not so much how good the coach is or even how good you are. It's got more to do with how well the two of you click and how that's going to dictate more how far you're going to go. Think of it like this. Think how much better you did at school when you had a teacher that you liked and that teacher liked you and you both put effort in and blah, 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 versus having a teacher you didn't like and a teacher that just didn't like you. When those two things happened, you didn't get a lot done in that class. You hated going to it, etc., etc. Versus when the teacher liked you and you liked the teacher, you did well. Marshall Smarter said, someone said they aren't honoring the all you can eat at the buffet. How dare you, Marshall Smartest? Man, I don't. It would have been hard for him to make welterweight. The outcast says, can you afford it? Heavyweight, Gastelum is tough as an old boot. I don't know. I'm leaning towards Kelvin because I think his hands are better, I guess. I think so too. And I don't know out of the two of them, this is what I think. I think Kelvin's a little bit faster, but out of the two of them, I don't know who has the auxiliary skills that are going to probably determine the fight. Because if it stays in boxing range, I think Gastelum can probably do it. I don't know if I imagine Cannonier can kick. He can kick. He can whack, man. And I imagine that Gastelum is going to get the shit kicked out of his lead leg. That's what I think Cannonier is going to do. Kenru says also, Fab, how does that work out? How does that work out if teammates are in the same weight class, e.g., Marvin and Kelvin? Would they ever match up? That'd be up to them. That'd be completely up to them. Like, if it just depends what agreement you guys have. It depends. A lot of the times, especially in those big gyms, people are, like most of the time, people aren't even teammates. You might train at the same facility as the dude, but you have your own little team. A lot of the times, like the people who made you good aren't even these guys. Like, no disrespect to them because these guys are amazing. Like the guy that taught, which is actually in Kelvin's case, he's in Kelvin's corner. He's the guy with the hat on. Um, is a guy that you wrestled with all through high school. You know what I mean? Which is the guy that is in Kelvin's corner. He's a wrestling coach all the way through juniors. Then he went to Rafael Cordero to get other work and blah blah blah. Maybe better, whatever. So a lot of the times when these guys are at these big camps, they're not necessarily training. They might do some sessions with the whole team or whatever, but they'll take their own team with them. Uh, Overeem's prime example of that. He had his own team, and he'd go and train at whatever gyms. I don't want to say names or whatnot. Oh no, this was spoke to. He was on the podcast and whatnot. So he'll go there with his team. He said this on our podcast as well. I knew him anyways before that. But he'll go there with his team. He'll do the training with his team, and he'll use that place for the training partners to work with some of the coaches, et cetera, et cetera. But it's still he's got his own team. It's not like you go there and you're necessarily best mates. So it's different, man. Then there's like I'm not a big team kind of person in any shape, way, or form. So I've only ever worked in small teams with my groups. So that's always would have been weird. I don't think they would have fought each other in any of the situations that I've been in. But if you at ATT, you got, I don't know, 50 UFC fighters. I don't know how much you actually. I don't know when I say this. I don't know how much you actually teammates. Elaine says Jared looks scared in that Rob fight, but I guess the cracked elbow. I don't think he was scared. Um, I just don't see, like I said before the fight, I didn't really see how Jared was going to win outside of catching Rob with something. Jared's kind of like Rob, but a slower version, and Rob's kind of Kelvin, but a bigger, faster version of Kelvin with better kicks. Um, that's how I saw that fight. So outside of either one of them catching Rob, I think it's very, very hard. I think the hard fight for Rob in that division is Israel. And I think Rob will beat him in the rematch, but I think it's a 50-50 fight. I think Israel's a phenomenal fighter, and I think the hard fight for Israel in that division is Rob. I don't see anyone else giving them a run. Leighton says Cannonier said he would consider going to 170. I don't know. He looks shredded already. I don't know about him going down to 170. Like the thing is, it's not about can you make the weight. You can fucking make just about any weight. It's can you perform at that weight. Nicholas Bright says, before I forget, thanks for the potty and commentary. Nicholas, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching the show. Thank you for supporting. I appreciate it so very, very much. Honestly, I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it. So thank you, man. Marshall Smartest Marshall Smarter says, but 186, do they mean 206? What do you mean by that? Kenahuna says, yeah, Usman went to Onyx, though, for that fight and for his future camps. Oh, you're talking about Kamaru now and that? Yeah, like, I don't know. Roy C says, I think that applies in team sports too. There's coaching, whatever, but it's those handful of players you drill with and are able to work on skill development that really make you better. 1,000,000,000%. Nicholas Bright says, laugh out loud. Cannonier is nearly a decade older, but Kelvin's the old dog in this division. True. Um, Elaine Tenetti says Rob was not there mentally during the first fight. He looks so much happier now, and he said his passion for fighting got lit again during lockdown. Um, Look, man, I'm not going to say one thing or the other. Like, if just when fighters lose or win, if he had won, would he have said that? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, we're off. We're off, people. Kelvin in the southpaw stance. Cannonier in the orthodox stance. Yeah, like you can't like. No, what I'm trying to say is you can't say, "Oh, I wasn't there." I'm not even saying about Rob. Forget Rob or whoever. But you don't know what's going on in the other guy's head. You know what I mean? If he's not like, if he's not well, would you give the win back? Like, if the fight's over, it's finished. You know what I mean? Um, yeah. So yeah, nice combinations by Gastelum. Throws the combinations down the middle. This is where Gastelum's very, very dangerous. Nice. He switches, does Cannonier, throws a kick on the outside, lands it on the calf. I don't think there was much in that fight between Rob and Israel. There wasn't a lot in it, you know. Um, I don't like, each person knows their own thing, how they felt, whatnot. I'm not denying anything that somebody felt. I don't know this. But I will say there was not much in that fight, you know, like if how it ended and that it wasn't a lot in it. There wasn't like people can say whatever they want, but it wasn't a lot in the fight. You have to watch that fight back and watch it properly and go, okay, fuck, Israel won. You know, he caught Rob with that left hook at the end, and it was great the way he did it. But there wasn't a lot. Watch how that left hook happened. Tough fight, man. I'm going to concentrate on this fight. Good exchanges. Gastelum looks. This fight is good for Gastelum. Is a guy that's going to engage with him, kind of in the center there. This is a good fight for him. But nice leg kicks landing by Cannonier, and he lands them from the southpaw stance. What a fight! Gastelum's looking for those angles to throw that left hand down the pipe, and Cannonier's trying to beat him to the punch with a right hand down the middle, but he's not faster than Gastelum to do that. Inside leg kick by Cannonier. Oh, catches Gastelum with a nice left hook. Does Cannonier. Both these guys have one punch KO power, though. Both these guys hit hard as hell. Good boxing exchanges down the middle by both these guys. Gastelum's coming forward very, very strong. The thing is with Gastelum, though, when you're at the top and you've been at the top for a while and there's a lot of footage on you, yeah, it's starting to be able to see a lot more of the patterns of how he fights against. You start to see more and more the types of fighters that how he does against this type of fighter, how he does against that type of fighter. And more like people are starting to figure him out a little bit, and he has to evolve and change a little bit how he fights. That's some nice inside leg kick to Cannonier. Cannonier tries to counter with a huge right hand and he slides out of the way of that Gastelum left. Now I think it starts to become a little bit harder for Gastelum if Cannonier gets out of this round. He's dropped a high percentage of the middleweights that he's fought in the first round has Gastelum. 2 seconds to go, and that's the round. Very interesting round. Eric Salem says, do you think Gastelum was a bit underrated now because of his losses to Adesanya and Whitaker? I don't think there's any shame to lose to either one of those two guys. That's the first thing. And I think that he also lost to Hermanson and he lost to Darren Till. So it does something to your confidence, man, to come in like he's got 4 losses from 5 starts or something like that. I'm not exactly sure, but it's something like that. It's an interesting thing. Like it does something to your momentum. So the Israel Gastelum fight, again, it's not the same thing. That's why I say to you, like you can't go into too much. Like when fighters say, "Oh, this or that or whatever," you don't know. You know what I mean? And you can't. And not that it's not true, but like what do you do? Like if the other person's now he's not feeling well or he's feeling good, do you take your win back? You don't. It's not what the fighters say. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like when you as an audience have to take it and understand that they're saying it from this point of view. They're saying it from this position. Even sometimes people say stuff and it sounds horribly arrogant, but you got to understand they're saying it from that point of view, where the situation that they're in. Nice exchanges in the middle. Gastelum will tend to slow down like anybody else does after about 8 or 9 minutes. This is where the diesel grind kind of thing of someone like a Cannonier starts to come on a bit. Because he is a diesel engine, this Cannonier. And I think he has to get out of the second round. And then I see the tables turning for Cannonier immensely. I see Cannonier going to do something similar to what Rob did, but he's not as fast as Rob. He's not quite as fast. And so that's going to make it a little bit harder for him to be able to deploy that kind of game plan. But he is switching stances to hit little jabs and outside leg kicks on Gastelum, which is an interesting tactic to use on Gastelum. I haven't seen a lot of people use that tactic to fight him a little bit more from southpaw. And it throws Gastelum off a little bit because being a southpaw, most of the guys he fights are orthodox. And he does get kicked to the leg a lot. He's taken quite a few of these leg kicks from Jared onto that calf. I don't know how many more he can take like that. Jared's very patient, very smart. Inside leg kick by Gastelum. Jared throwing those big right hands. Gastelum still full of pep, still moving really, really well. That's when Gastelum's dangerous, when he's moving the way he's moving. But that leg's bothering him. Those leg kicks from Cannonier are bothering him. Now Cannonier's kind of corralling him. Cannonier holding the center of the octagon. Gastelum takes his back. You can see this. Oh, left hand by Gastelum down the pipe. Nice work. Cannonier in the southpaw stance. He's going to be looking for another calf kick. It's imperative he lands another couple this round. He really needs to land another couple in this round. Nice little jab there by Cannonier. 1-2 landed by... Oh! They exchange. Both these guys exchange big shots on each other's heads. Nice calf kick by Cannonier. Partially checked by Gastelum. And Cannonier goes looking for the calf kick again. This time Gastelum lifted his leg. Gastelum answers with a leg kick of his own. He goes looking for a body shot. He goes looking for a right high kick, does Cannonier. Nice body shot by Gastelum again. Cannonier ducks under it. I'd like to see, you know what, I'd like a little combination that'd be good here from Cannonier. Front snap kick to the body, and then you can fake the front kick and switch into a southpaw stance and then throw the calf kick. Nice. It's jumping switch kick from Cannonier. Gastelum's landing that left hand, but Cannonier's kind of rolling with it. Nice little calf kick by Cannonier. You do not have to land those too hard. You do not have to land them very hard. You just have to land them hard enough. 3 seconds to go. 2, 1, time. Nice. Nice. The outcast says, I think Till will probably lose to Brunson because he reminds me of a middleweight Tyron Woodley. Stylistically, bad matchup unless Till's wrestling has got a lot better. He's always been hard to take down. Till hasn't never been an easy guy to take down and hold down. Marshall Smarter says, Gastelum is so fast twitch. It takes so much energy to break on the stool and then back to work. Stupid rules. Eric Solheim says, forget that. He's on a bit of a skid, but the 1 and 2 ranked fighters ought to beat just about everyone else. I definitely think that that Israel and Rob beat everyone else in the division. I don't see anyone giving them a run, to be honest with you. I don't see anyone giving them a run. Third round. A Tim Tam is a chocolate biscuit, 808. Southpaw and orthodox stance. Gastelum in the southpaw stance. I don't know. I don't know the scores on this fight. To be honest with you, I wouldn't be able to score it. I was looking for a nice right high kick. Does Cannonier? Oh, he drops Gastelum with a right hook. He's got Gastelum on wobbly feet. Man, that was a big shot. Oh, he dropped Gastelum with that right. Nice front kick up the middle. Gastelum's got a solid chin, man. He's got such a granite chin, does Gastelum. Oh, right high kick from Cannonier. Cannonier's so patient. That was a nice, like, little right hook, it seemed, from the position I saw it. Landed flush on Gastelum. I don't know what is in Gastelum's head, dude. His head is like cinder. Like, I don't know how he doesn't get hurt. I mean, I'm sure he gets hurt, but man, that was a heavy shot. Now he's holding Cannonier up against the cage. Cannonier hits him with a big shot to the stomach. See this front kick down the middle from southpaw, from orthodox to southpaw. Very, very nice. Nice. He snaps his head back with a nice jab. Does Cannonier. Cannonier shifts he goes from southpaw to orthodox and he does it really well. Gastelum has to. He may lose this round if he doesn't like drop Cannonier or do something incredible. And the reason I say that is because then that's a clear round to Cannonier. You know, might be a round apiece going into this round, and then this could be a 10-8 round from the drop. You don't know how the judges score it. You don't know how they see the rest of the round. It doesn't look like it to me, but it could be, you know. I don't know how they're scoring it. That's all I'm saying to you. He fell and he got back up straight away, but still, it was a nice shot that he got him with. But Gastelum seems to be recovered and he seems to be fighting well. But he has few nice jabs there. He hits a nice deep double on Cannonier, but Cannonier sprawls, defends it, and then hits him with a right hook on the break. That was a big shot by Cannonier, man. But this is where a lot of the power starts to go from Gastelum later in these rounds. He's already been dropped now, and his punches are starting to become a bit sloppy, and he's still got 2 rounds to go. Nice elbow on the way in by Cannonier. Nice work. Now, as the fight progresses, I have to favor Cannonier later in the fight. Doesn't mean Gastelum can't come back and win it. But the grinder like this, Cannonier loves it. He'll come on late in the fight. He's definitely very much a diesel engine. Cannonier and Gastelum's throwing with a lot of power. A lot of power. 30 seconds to go. Oh, nice inside kick by Gastelum. 10 seconds to go. Gastelum has clawed his way back into this round. That's the round. Wow. Man, it's caught him with a stepping in check hook, and it crumbled him, dude. It dropped him. Really nice work. David Morris says, past round 3, I don't know if Gastelum can keep up the level of movement he needs to avoid big shots. Yeah, 100%. This is going into round 4, Sage. Um, Having said that, remember that Cannonier won't have the big shots in him anymore in 4th and 5th the way that he would have in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. But having said that, I do agree with you that um, I don't know that Gastelum, not only that, I don't know that Gastelum can have the big shots to keep Cannonier off him either. Later into this, and he's taken damage, right? He's taken damage in this fight, even though he's got a granite chin. Like it still affects you. Like he got crumpled in that with that shot right on the chin. It's just that he has a fantastic chin. His recovery is fantastic, but man, he's taken some big shots. 808 says Kelvin hurt his left knee leg when he got dropped. And I think his right leg is a little bit compromised. Right now, he seems to be moving quite well with both legs. But Jared has landed some shots there. He's got double underhooks, does Gastelum. I don't think he's going to get the takedown here on Jared. Jared's phenomenally strong and he's doing a good job here. He's pushing the head away so that Gastelum can't get the purchase that he needs. And he's got his underhook back. I have Cannonier winning this thus far. Chill says Cannonier was definitely looking scarier as the fight went on against Rob. Yeah, that that's what I mean. Like I was going for Rob, and I obviously, but again, Cannonier looked good in that fight too. You know, like he did. But again, Rob's just quicker than him. He's a quicker, much quicker guy, and speed kills. You know, especially when they're evenly matched, kind of across the board. But Rob's just quicker. Cannonier is doing a good job. He's not loading up on his punches too much. He's very, very patient with how he's throwing these shots. Gastelum lands a nice little outside kick. Now from the southpaw stance, he's going to go looking for that calf kick again, I believe. Every time he goes southpaw, that's what you can be looking for. And he throws this lead right hook kind of thing from the orthodox stance, does Cannonier, which is very rare. You don't throw a lead hook from 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 that stance generally. But it's one of those things because you don't throw it, it's not really the correct punch to throw. If you time it right and you use it sparingly, it's quite unorthodox and people aren't expecting it. And again, people are going to say so and so uses it all the time. Yeah, somebody might, but it's rare. People generally don't. It's not something that you'd want to throw. Oh, he caught Gastelum through the arms, but that right head kick caught him. Gastelum goes looking for a left punch, lands an outside leg kick. Cannonier coming forward now. Oh, he drops Gastelum. Looks like he dropped him with an uppercut, but Gastelum went for a single leg at the same time. I think he dropped him there. I think he caught him, but Gastelum kind of sat down on that single leg. I don't know. I'd have to see the replay. I thought he dropped him momentarily. Gastelum's kind of slowing down just a tad out of the way of the punches. Look for that calf kick again from Cannonier when he goes to southpaw stance. He's trying to hit him with a check hook. There's 31 seconds to go. I thought he landed that. I thought he landed an uppercut that dropped him, but I'm not sure. Not dropped him like slept him, but I thought it kind of shook him, and that's how he went for the single. 4, 3, 2, 1, time. I'd like to see the replay and see if that actually dropped him. Not sure. It was interesting, man. That was a very interesting round. Cannonier looks pretty exhausted himself. I want to see the replay. I want to see if they play that replay. I want to see if he actually caught him or not. Because Kelvin has taken some shots, man. Interesting fight, this one. And this fifth round, I mean, the fight is up for grabs. Could be anyone's fight. I don't know who's winning. You know, you don't know how the judges are scoring it. You don't know what people are seeing necessarily. So yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know who's winning. I don't know how the people are scoring it. It could be 2 rounds apiece. It could be 3 rounds to 1 for Cannonier if they didn't give that one to Gastelum. Oh, right hand down the pipe by Cannonier. They both exchange. Cannonier throws an elbow, misses on that elbow. Gastelum seems to have. I think somebody here said it before as well. I think you're right because he does seem to wobble on that leg, on that left leg of his a little bit. Nice calf kick by Cannonier lands again. Another little calf kick by Cannonier lands. And with the cut, oh, nice little check hook by Gastelum hits Cannonier on the way out, but Cannonier was already rolling with it. Oh, nice little elbow lands by Cannonier on the way in. Switches stances, does Gastelum, tries to come in, but Cannonier was gone. Oh, nice little jab landed by Gastelum. Gastelum goes looking for the takedown. He's in deep. He's in deep. He gets it down. Is he going to be able to? Nice work, but Cannonier gets back to his feet. Roy C says, "What do I think about the open scoring?" Yeah, I mean, I'm not against open scoring. I think that's good. You got to remember though, when you talk about the judging, this is what I've said to you before. Like you got to understand how it's being judged. Like I'm not saying the judges always get it wrong or right or whatever. I'm just saying you have to understand how it's getting judged. I will talk more about that in a sec. So now Gastelum tried to get the takedown, wasn't able to do it. He's got a deep underhook on the left hand side, and Cannonier's trying to defend. He's doing a good job. There's not a lot happening here, but you do not want to capitulate this much of the round to Gastelum when it's this close of a fight. Nice work with a nice duck under by Gastelum. Nice little duck under. Now Jared is able to work him off the cage. Nice combinations by Gastelum. He keeps coming forward. Man, Cannonier, if you, I don't know who won the rounds thus far. So Cannonier can't capitulate too much here. He's got 1 minute and 42 seconds to go. He's got to put in some output, or he could lose this round, and you don't know. He could lose the fight. The output's definitely coming from Gastelum in this thing. There's nothing he's doing. He's actually damaging Cannonier, but there's definitely an output from Gastelum. Nice little jab lands by Cannonier. Cannonier. I don't know if Cannonier thinks he's up ahead and he's not. He doesn't. Good. Oh, nice deep double leg by Gastelum. Cannonier does a good job of defending, lands some good elbows. Gastelum tried to switch, but he wasn't able to do it. He got poked in the eye, I think. He says he got poked in the eye. I'm not exactly sure what happened. Cannonier is complaining about his eye. He's moving. He hits Gastelum with a nice cheeky left hook there. Gastelum's putting a lot of effort here into getting these takedowns. It's a close fight. I don't know what a takedown will do or won't do for him. It says that the Cannonier is landing the more significant strikes. I don't know if that's true. It just seems like a very close fight to me. Nice little right hand by left high kick by Gastelum. Little big knee right at the end by Cannonier. I don't know. I don't know who won that fight. I don't know. I thought that Cannonier was winning it. I don't know how they scored the fight, but I thought it was close. Like the most clearly won round was by Cannonier, in my opinion, when he dropped him in that one of the drops. Then all the other rounds were pretty close, in my opinion, from memory. I don't know. So it's kind of like one round to me for sure is Cannonier's, and then it comes down to how do you score the others? You know, did Gastelum win the last two rounds? You know, I don't know. So Roy C says, "What do I think about open scoring?" Like I said to you before, like you got to understand how it's. I'm not saying you don't. I'm just speaking for people out there. You got to understand how it's being scored, and it's being scored by three judges, and they're all on separate parts of the octagon, and you can only score off what you see, not of what you think you saw. They can talk about changing the system or whatever. Cool. I'm just saying because sometimes people look at it and they go, "How could one judge have scored it completely different to the others?" Is because he's looking at it from a different angle, um, and they can see. And that's Cannonier won. I thought Cannonier won. I thought he did. I thought he did win. Khaled says, "Hey Fabs, I don't know is not a good enough answer. We want to know who won now." Cannonier. Cannonier won. Chill says, "Really hate when a fight like this goes to the judges." Yeah, I mean it's a close fight. I had the feeling that Cannonier won. In my opinion, it's tough, man. Like making calls like that is tough. I agree with that, Marshall Smartest, and that's why I say to you as well. Like everyone likes to shit on the judges, but they get it right most of the time, dude. It's very hard, and people love to shit on people when when they can. They don't go, "Oh, that was a tough fight. That was a tough fight to call." You know what I mean? And yeah, it was probably Cannonier. In my opinion, I thought it was Cannonier. Tough, tough fight to call, man. If you want to come up with a better system, I'm all ears. But you're going to have problems no matter what. You're going to have problems no matter which way you score it, no matter what. And like I said to you, it's not that hard to understand that if there's three judges and they're all in different angles, you're going to call it differently. I've been in heaps of fights, man, where I've seen them. I've been cornered for heaps of fights where I've seen it one way, and then I watch it on the screen and it's another. You know, and it's just the angles. And when you're live as well, there's things that you say to people after you're watching. That sequence of events, and people go, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, da da da," and I say that's the shot that I felt changed the fight when that shot landed or when this happened, and that you on the screen it doesn't look like that big of a deal, but you saw sometimes you're watching and you're right near him and you see the shot land and you see the person's face change, you see their body language change subtly because these guys are animals. They're not going to show you that, but you see it in that moment, a split second. You know that shot landed, but the other two judges might not have seen it. And then you also see sometimes how their corner reacts, and so their corner, like the guy that got hit, their corner might react in a way that gave it away that he got hurt, and the judges are privy to all of this, and they can see that. And you might not be able to, so it's not that easy to say. Um, Take care, says Marshall Smartest. Thank you, mate. You too. Look after yourself. Kenu says, my boy Kelvin with a 1-4. That's what I mean. I think Paul Daly said it. Records are for DJs. Kelvin Gastelum's still a great fighter, but I think he's still kind of the same fighter that he's always been. Whereas people are watching you, dude, and if you don't change, you don't add little wrinkles to your game, you can get better, but it doesn't happen. That's why I say to you, like, I'm not saying don't read into too much what fighters say or what they don't say or what it da 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 da. Like, watch the fights and take it for what it is. Because if Gastelum tells you he's not happy or he's not feeling well or he's this or he's that, Cannonier's not going to give him the win back. And if Gastelum won, you wouldn't hear it, and he wouldn't. And then Cannonier said to you, "Oh, now I'm not." It doesn't matter, man. Like, it really doesn't matter. Watch the fights, enjoy the fights. Don't read into things too much. Oliver Ekman says, "I thought Fab would get off as soon as the fight was over. I'm still here." Well, I'm about to go, but yeah, man, I need to sleep. I've got to try and survive till 9, 10 p.m. tonight so that I sleep through. So thank you very much, guys. I really, really appreciate everything. I really appreciate you guys watching the show. I really appreciate you guys supporting. Please hit the like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you haven't already. Thank you so much for everyone for everything, And I just really appreciate it all. I appreciate you guys watching, because without that, there is no show. So thank you very much, and I will catch you guys very, very soon. Thank you very much, guys. Take care. Bye bye.